All right.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Before we get started, we give all praise to our power.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash.
That's the Most High in the name of the Son in the ancient Hebrew. That's whether you want to believe it or not. Those are the ancient names which the majority of the people on earth are calling God and Jesus Christ ignorantly. And double honors to our elders and apostles and the bishops up in CT that taught us the truth, paving the way, and continue teaching this truth. Double honors to you all. To the households of faith, the Akim, the Akwakim, the brothers and sisters and children in the background, the household of faith, Shalom. Let's go to Matthew first.
All right. This is Matthew 28 and 20. Teaching them to observe all things,
You can jump up one verse.
All right, copy. This is Matthew 28 and 19 to verse 20. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father.
Now you got to remember, people when they hear the Great Commission, they think in Matthew the 10th chapter, where Yahushua says, only go amongst the nation of Israel, take no personal script. But this is also a Great Commission as well. It's all right. It's not like it was two separate missions. This is the mission right here. Now listen what he's saying to us. Go ahead.
Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father.
Yeah, because our people were dispersed among all the nations. We would have to go among the heathen nations eventually to gather the sheep. Through what? It said, baptizing them in the name of Yahweh and Yahushua. So when we got there, we have to break down the Hebrew. Maybe from English to Hebrew, or from Spanish to Hebrew. That's what's going on right now. All right? It's not no physical baptisms going on within this sect of Yasha'Allah. All right? Go ahead.
And of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you.
Right.
Whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Wow.
Right, so there it said end of the world. Again, it doesn't mean the whole world's going to end. That's eon. It means a specific age or a time period. Yahushua said he would be with us. Not until the world blows up. What sense does that make?
It's not going to blow up.
You know? It's not going to implode. There's certain parts of the earth on the outside and the inside that nobody knows about. Yahushua is with us until that's revealed. Until this man's taken down. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra 6.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Verse 6. No, I'm going to go to 6 verse 7.
Yeah.
Then answered I and said...
Because people will ask, well, what is the end of this age? You know? How is it going to come to a close? Because it looks like things are ramping up and the superpowers are coming together. Because a lot of people who believe in theology and stuff, and believe in the Antichrist. Okay, but what superpower is supposed to rise up? And who's going to win? Because they think Christ's kingdom is somewhere in the heavens forever where you go forever.
Sure.
But then they're going to turn around and say the Lord's Prayer. Go ahead, Rob.
It says, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times?
Right, when the time frame is going to be cut off. Asunder means to cut something. When you go down to the etymology of that word, it means to sever. Go ahead.
It says, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows?
Keep going.
It says, and he said,
right, just like other kingdoms, the Babylonians, Persians, Medes, Greeks, Romans, you know, everybody had their time. Even Jake came into a power for a little bit that they called the Dark Ages. That had to end. And the beginning of another followed after that. So this is what Ezra's asking the angel. Go ahead.
It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born of him.
Right, so it goes back to a specific story in the scripture. All the other nations that were born, all the other lineages that were created, but the changing of the time all goes back to one specific lineage, one specific birth. Go ahead.
Jacob and Esau.
Jacob and Esau.
So it says, and he said unto me, this is back in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hand of Esau.
Which symbolizes this man's power structure being brought down through the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, because 2/3 ain't gonna do it.
I don't know.
You know, we doing it in the righteous sense. 2/3 is here just to wreak havoc, loot, be niggas, you know, which Esau created them. But hey, you created a monster that's gonna get out of control, man. Because you see how he rode on Levi. and they fought back. Was out there in Brooklyn. Imagine if he was to try to do that with Benjamin and Ephraim included. You got war on your hands.
That's right.
You know?
They got their ICE got their asses handed to them.
They sure did.
Them Haitians, I'm not gonna call them because I'm not gonna call them Levites, but they proper name are Levites, but they niggas in the war, so they Haitians. They put hands on them. They whoop their ass, man.
Yeah, they got that Tucson overture spirit.
Yeah.
That slave rebellion spirit.
Yeah. So it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that follower.
Right, and that's why I got you holding Ezekiel, because Esau's gonna fight tooth and nail to make sure, number one, you don't know he's Esau, and number two, he's connected to the end of this empire, to this age. See, you got the woman's riding upon the beast. That's what makes her so powerful. But it's Edomite. You know what I'm saying? Esau's at the top of all these corporations and different entities that control the earth, and the banking families, the Vanderbilts, you know, and the Rockefellers, and the Rothschilds, and then those that own Walmart. They don't want you to know that they're connected to the end of America somehow.
Right.
So when you see something like depopulation on the Bilderberg agenda, Georgia Guidestones, they're always talking about it. Just because they allowed us to see depopulation this time during the secret meeting when the 12 World War showed up, that was going on, they always talk about it because they're trying to enforce his law. But it said Jacob's the beginning of it that falls. So at some point in time, Jacob's going to overcome you, and that's the prophecy in Genesis 49. Yeah, hop in there.
You have at the end of this month, the second week of this month, the 14th to the 24th of July, in Sonoma County, the Bohemian Grove and the Commission of Care coming up. You know what I'm saying? So they go to discuss world affairs there. Passes going on in Ukraine and Russia. Passes going on with Russia. What's going on with Iran and Israel. Also, North Korea and China delivered, first and foremost, China, which is a powerful country, gave them brand new fighter jets. Sold them to them. And North Korea dropped off missiles and stockpiles, so did Russia. Yeah. So Iran is geared up for a hell of a fight, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was Israel that called for the ceasefire. They was getting pelted to oblivion.
Yeah, they weren't going to be able to keep up with all the missiles coming in.
And contrary to what everybody believed, it was Israel that was crying foul, crying, oh, Father, help us. I'm saying we need help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they need the United States back. They couldn't stop those hypersonics.
They could.
Right.
Hypersonic missiles, they don't have a predetermined path. Like when we talk about intercontinental ballistic missiles, we normally shoot them like this.
It's just
like
coming in crazy.
But they have a predetermined path, right? And what they do is you intercept that missile, whether it be air to air, which is what the United States leads in, surface to air, which is what Russia leads in with the S-400, 500, and then you have land to air. Sea to air. That's how warfare, these missiles, they get intercepted. Now, the state of Israel, they have three surface to air missile defense systems. They have the Iron Dome, they have David's Sling, and they have the Arrow 1 and Arrow 2. Both of those things can handle hypersonic missiles, because when we say hypersonic, we're talking anything above Mach 5, right? What these things do is they leave the atmosphere and they come back in with no mechanical moving parts. And they reach speeds at above Mach 5. Now, instead of coming in a predetermined path, they'll do this.
Yeah.
So, modern day interception is shooting a missile with another missile. Mind you, these bullets are going faster than, these missiles go faster than bullets, so that's impressive in itself. But imagine trying to shoot a bullet that's curved.
Yeah.
You can't do it, right? This ain't warranted, right?
Impossible.
It's impossible. So once those hypersonics are shot, it's finito. And Iran, first of all, Iran is 72% larger in terms of size. No, sorry, 72 times larger than Iran, because that's 7,000%. Yes. Iran is 7,000 times larger than the state of Israel. The state of Israel is a very small.
It's like Jersey.
Yeah, very small landmass. What Israel has to do, the only way Israel is able to do what it does in the Middle East is because it's aided by the United States. They do things like covert means of operation, right? Compromise U.S. senators and diplomats over here, You have your APAC, all right? Because if money ain't your thing, then we're just gonna honey trap you. We'll send some bitch there that's 17, tell you she's 21. Now we got you on film fucking her, and we'll leverage that over you. So they do different things to manipulate, all right, the largest military in the world, which is the United States. If they didn't have the United States backing, it's over. That's how come they want to shut down things like TikTok and X, because now these platforms have given alternative media a different perspective of what's going on over there in the land of in the Middle East. Right. This is not 2001 anymore, where whatever you read on the paper, that's what you believe. You got people saying, nah, free Palestine, and these sorts of things, and saying Israel and so-called Jews are a bunch of demons, man.
Just mention about them defense systems, the iron domes and the missiles, things like that.
Scriptures speak about it, lift themselves up in their brigade.
This is Joel 2:7. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways.
That's going in these missiles, man. All right. See, in ancient world, your city was like a citadel, right? Your city was protected by walls, right? Yeah. Men would try to leave them. You do a siege. Warfare has changed now. Okay, warfare is fought with drones, missiles. Look at where the money goes, all right? The money is not going into Lockheed Martin and Boeing and these sorts of old school military industrial complex. Look, you're not going to take Iran with boots on the ground like you did that with Iraq. That's just not going to happen, all right? Warfare now is AI intelligence, your volunteers, and AI data-driven defense systems. These is where it's going. So when you read these scriptures right here, it's not talking about ancient world warfare. The scripture says that this war, World War III, is not going to be like those ancient world wars. This is a more technologically sophisticated kind of thing going on here, man. Really, we're in the midst of World War III. It's just not like World War II, okay?
I was going to say something. And they shall not break their ranks.
They shall not break their ranks. Meaning, they're not going to, it's a dud or fall apart or miss. Every missile that's been created has a predetermined purpose since the world began to hit its target. You know, we always talk about in cartoons when they're running for the missile and shit and it's following them. Yeah. Literally, that's the kind of, well, not literally, but that's how it's gonna be. There's missiles that's created for this set purpose. There's a missile right now sitting in the silo specifically to hit this landmass right here. Where I'm standing right now, there's a missile there waiting to do its thing. Mm-hmm. Like a soldier, like whenever you're ready, Lord. Turn them keys, going to his destination. It's not gonna miss, man.
That's why they put all those satellites up there to control these missiles. It helps it hit its target even more effectively. They're talking about them hypersonic.
But they don't realize that the Most High can put his spirit on them missile to hit their targets, regardless if they want to shoot them off or not. And you gotta understand, sir. Once Yahweh crack them skies, Esau's gonna be scared like a motherfucker, but he's gonna put the spirit to fight him. Because if the Lord don't do that, Esau gonna submit. Like, oh shit, we ain't got nothing for these people. So for these beings, so they're gonna come tributary. The Lord don't want that. The Lord wants to fuck you up. The Lord wants you to fight, so he's gonna kill you. Because when you come tributary, when you submit, you become tributary. You know what I'm saying? You pay punk due, so to speak. But when you start fighting and you get your ass handed to you, now the rest of you that survive is going into slavery and the land's getting taken over.
Yeah, I just thought about all the jets that get destroyed in the air. You got to go clean that up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to go clean the earth up.
You know, the rest of the weapons that's going to be left behind from Esau, they're going to be burnt up, you know what I mean? And destroyed.
The world's going to slow down. You know, you're not going to be seeing like trains and this type of shit. Because remember, these missiles,
bullets.
Yeah, these missiles let out something what's called an EMP, electromagnetic pulse. So a lot of the technology that you see, it's going to go away. We're going to go back to the ancient world, man. It's gonna be like I'm not trying to be it's gonna kind of be like Wakanda, where it was a mixture of like old school shit, but with like high tech kind of.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So that's how the kingdom's gonna be. Because we're
gonna be glowing. You know
right, brother.
Have that spiritual power. We're gonna have the best technology in the world. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna go back to the ancient world according to time, but it's going to be sophisticated in technology.
Yeah, like you're going to be seeing chariots and golden cities and all these sorts of things, but you still might see horses on a carriage, these sorts of things. You know what I'm saying?
Which is sufficient for the time. But hey, because you know who tilled the ground. You're gonna have these Edomites going old school with the buffaloes. I'm saying with the ox tilling the ground and everything.
Yeah.
Then if we go over, we gonna beat the shit. If we see a crazy trail, we gonna beat the shit out y'all.
Yeah, well, in Isaiah 60, it says the dromedary shall come over. It says, you look that up, that's like camels.
Yeah, good.
You know, so the resources of the Gentiles not gonna be brought over on a bullet train.
Gonna be brought over
You know?
on camels and other beasts of burden,
Yeah.
like donkeys, camels,
You see movies,
horses.
you see how Jake had to create different pulley systems, put these big ass blocks in the pyramids in ancient Egypt. The same thing's just gonna be put in place. You got to figure that shit out though. The Zidonians, you know, they built a lot of our structures up, especially during Solomon's time.
I'm glad you mentioned you're not gonna have no land surveyors in the kingdom. And right now they use the trigonometry. What else? What other math they use? Because the earth is curved. You know, the curvature of the earth. So they use the land surveyors with them black and yellow devices.
Like right here, like case
Yeah,
right here.
it's a lot of trigonometry they use. Yeah, they use trig. They use
See
trig.
where the pipes and stuff are.
And you're not gonna be able to do that. You're not gonna be able to do that. So
Man.
it's gonna be more
labor intensive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go for it, bro.
It makes sense. Yeah, the earth has to slow down. You know?
That's right,
And
bro.
they said in the upcoming
Hey,
weeks
Pop,
it's
make
gonna
sure the
be
camera got that, brother.
the slowest day in a long time.
You said what?
Coming up in the next couple weeks. I actually just read on the train. Yeah, that's the slowest day ever is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the next couple weeks or something like that.
It's not for the Lord to manipulate time.
But it's under that plays into the balance of the Lord because He said He would make these days few for us and pray for a few days because hey, we got all eternity to enjoy the kingdom.
Earth's gonna get bigger again.
Yeah, yep, gonna get bigger. He said He would establish our foundations better than it was at the first. We're not talking about when Joshua. We're talking about the garden.
Yeah.
You know, when the sons of the power had everything.
We were like giants.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Big,
established back in
man,
our nature. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When we're surveying the land, some of us might be big as mountains, man.
Heavy, bro.
So you know, we're gonna go back to that. Go
Right.
ahead, dog.
This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 3. Now is the end come upon thee.
Right, so we understand that end. It's Esau's end. It's not the end of the whole world.
Right.
Real quick, the Ecclesiastes
Gotcha.
scripture.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
It's
Look
okay.
at that. This is on top.
I'll read it again.
Yeah.
Ezekiel 7 and 3. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee. Got it?
Yeah, I got it. I don't know why it disappeared. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
Right, so the Lord is always going to have this foundational piece here no matter what. That's why I said they'll say the Lord's Prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. There's a whole altar, a temple, there's singers up in the heavens. They're singing right now. You know, all that is going to be brought down, that heavenly arrangement is going to be brought down into the earthly realm. You know? It's going to be sci-fi to these people. They're not going to believe it. It's going to take a while for them to understand. That's why the Lord said He's going to give us a rod to beat them into pieces. Because they're not going to want to listen at first. All these countries are fighting, are going to fight because they want to be the world power on earth. Nobody's adding in the equation of Yahweh Shai reign. They might have the equation of fighting UFOs and stuff like that, but they're not connecting it to the scriptures. You see, Yahweh Shai's face is going to show up. The whole earth has to see Him. You know?
That's right. It's like General Zod, man.
Yep.
And still.
I just wanted to add real quick, like what the brother was saying, the scripture where the Lord said that will be done on earth as it is in heaven, it's also complete order in heaven. And in Esau's kingdom, it's no order, it's all chaos.
Everything's upside down. It says, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations.
Right, so that's what's about to happen for our people, man. Because Esau's fighting tooth and nail to hide who he is, and our people fighting tooth and nail to be wicked. They want to stay here to be wicked still. Even though there was no mirth in this 4th. You see the comments of people, it's the 4th of July, but I don't feel like celebrating because my hospital's about to get closed down. By the big beautiful bill. You know what I'm saying? The mirth is being stripped from this place. See, Yahweh Shai said that we would rejoice and these people would be sorrowful. We're starting to get just a little bit of that rejoicing now. So we're getting a little taste of it. and it's great. And we know there's certain. That's why I love watching YouTube videos about the Amazon and drones flying over certain places, because there's certain places just we uninhabitable.
Shit looks surreal, bro.
Yeah, who knows what type of herbs and fruits are there? You know how the ground feels on your feet. You know how good the water probably is for you. You have no idea.
You get a relief when you walking on natural earth,
Yes.
like that human soil or whatever.
Yeah.
Your whole shots, everything's different. You know, like. I couldn't do it like I'm in the 5 rows. Like let's say for instance I want that kind of, if my feet hurting and I'm in like Queens, I go to the beach, take off my shoes and walk in the sand. That give me a little relief. You brother dog.
They call it earthing.
Yeah, I was gonna say call it
Earthing.
earthing.
You let go all that electromagnetic that's supposed to flow back in the earth, put it in the earth. But when we walk on concrete, it's just shooting back up. Doesn't get a chance to. That's like how everybody feels a sense of like chronic pain, and even now as I'm standing here, it's like you feel a bit of chronic pain in your lower back.
That's why when a lot of companies that make the shoes with the natural stuff in them, with all the bullshit, the shoes are always a little bit wider, because your feet are supposed to naturally be a little bit wider when you grip the ground.
Yeah.
You know?
Your toes shouldn't be like this, but they make shoes like that.
Yeah.
Find your toes up. There's a bunch of shit Esau does. He's very methodical in what he does, how to slowly destroy you.
With certain boots, I don't want to keep talking, but certain boots, it might feel like a waterbed, how it molds. I don't know if you ever buy some steel toe boots, when you first get them, it feel like you got that cushion in the inside till you wear them out.
Yeah, I know Birkenstock, they shape to your foot too.
Yeah, okay.
There's more you want.
Yeah, keep going there. Go down. What's the 7th chapter, right?
Yeah.
You read down to like 15.
Copy. Verse 4. And my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee.
Yeah, because here it is. Christmas is coming up. We telling you don't do this shit. It's clearly you can't break down Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, any other way. But you're not having pity for the Lord's Day, you know, or the Passover. You know what I'm saying? You're going to keep Easter, but you won't keep the Passover. So your Lord's like, you know what? The hell with this. I don't care anymore. I don't care what you do or what you say. I'm going to get you. Go ahead.
It says, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
Right. That's why a lot of you went back to the spiritual world last night, thinking you was going to light off firecrackers and all that stuff. Or that one dude blew his hand off.
His name, 4 something.
4 extra.
4 extra, yeah. Yeah, he was bragging before he blew his hand off. I'm going to do this or something. I'm going to blow somebody the fuck up.
He blew his hand up on the set.
Super proud.
He was saying he was going to blow somebody up. He was going to throw this. He was going to throw it on somebody on the set and blow somebody up. But the most I had to wear is you got blown up.
Now you a real crip, nigga.
now, how you gonna hold a mic, nigga?
Right.
Can't squabble either. Can't be squabbling no more. You was
Can't
real
scrap.
proud. That dude was proud. We can't beat the world, man.
Squabble with everybody. I squabble with everybody.
That's why whenever these rappers that, because I don't ever know him, but I say, you know what, he got judged. Let me just go listen to his music now. Let's see what he was talking about. And you deserved it. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
talking on Keith's having a man. And he's talking about he had M80s. M80s is 1/3 of a stick of dynamite.
Damn. Yeah, that's too much.
M80s is 1/3 of a stick of dynamite. Half a stick of dynamite is this big.
Yeah, the shit doesn't shoot up and blow. You just light it and run away. It's like
That
a
shit,
fucking grenade.
yo, growing up, I'm
In the phone booths.
I'm
I know you gonna say it.
Growing up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? You put an M80 on the phone booth back in the 80s, that shit blow up, all kind of coins come out.
Oh,
This
shit.
brother was in the, you see he was in the spirit. I already knew what he was talking about.
So, and not only that, when you got an M80, them shits is like this, like a 3/4 of a dynamite. Half a stick of dynamite is the part of my phone, whole stick of dynamite is like this big.
Right.
So you got a 3/4 of a stick of dynamite, that shit is still enough powerful to blow your head off. You know what I'm saying? To fuck
That
you
shit was
up.
in front of his face, he would have died.
See, it wasn't smart.
Now,
We
somebody
would scrape the stem first, so the fuse would be it'll give you time.
It was slow.
Oh, shit.
You
know what I mean? You see,
you gotta scrape, like you said, the fuse, and when you scrape the fuse a little bit, you light it, it takes a little time to light. But if you don't do that, that shit go
yeah, man.
boom, real quick. You ain't gonna have time to move. Now, his
Like
boy,
a grenade.
Yeah, it
his
does.
boy got. They say his boy got half of his face blown off.
Oh, the 4 extra guy?
No, he got his hand blown off.
Yeah, but his boy got
his face blown off. You know what I'm saying half of his face blown off, like he's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Man, dangerous games,
Casualty,
dangerous prizes.
yeah, casualty.
I mean, I wouldn't even do no shit like that, man. I never played with inmates because I know that shit is like 3/4 of a dynamite, man. That shit is powerful, bro. And you had two, so you had like a half a stick of dynamite there. I'm gonna blow somebody. I'm gonna throw this on somebody. Come on, man.
When you in the truth, you don't do that. You don't do that shit when you was young no more. You got common sense. Like, yo, look, you don't tip the Lord, man.
You ever seen an inmate go off, brother? You ever?
I've heard it. I ain't seen it.
You never seen an inmate go off? Yo, I've seen it, bro.
I know what it sounds like.
I've seen dudes take an inmate, 3 of them, and wrap them together in duct tape and light them shits. That shit's like a fucking bomb, bro.
Yeah.
Boom! Cars go off, the sirens go off, everything. You know? I seen niggas is bugged up, man. They do bugged up shit, bro.
They don't got no respect for infants and elderly, man. Making all that goddamn noise, man.
But can you read that scripture again?
Hey, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord. I'm sorry, verse 4 then. Verse 4. And my eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee. And thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, and only evil, behold, is come.
Right, that's our message. The doom and gloom prophets.
That's right.
The Lord has only got evil, which means bad times. If you look up evil, means bad times. Keep going.
Verse 6. An end is come, the end is come, it watches for thee, behold, it is come.
Yeah, see, they're watching for thee. Why? Because we out here telling it to you. We know how the end is gonna come and what's gonna happen. You know? So if we sit here telling you there's no excuse, and then Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua said, declaring the end from the beginning. So he already sees that heavenly arrangement, that perfect order down here on earth. He sees what you have to go through to get to there. I'm talking about 2/3, the majority of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Eventually, this government's gonna come, and you're not gonna be able to fight them off.
That's right.
Some of you might break through, and you might get a couple of licks in, but for the most part, this guy's got a whole branches of military. Niggas don't have different branches of military. This man can shoot a sound weapon at you.
And this dude
He would shoot electricity at you. You know?
he was given the blessing of the sport, so he got all kind of
Yeah.
weapons. I'm saying what Jake's got.
Yeah.
9mm. You got some gang members out there that got some weapons, but you can't match Esau's weapons. You know. So I have a scripture real quick. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. It says, for the sword and destruction draweth near, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's going into race riots, class of civilizations, that's going into full-blown Jacob's trouble. And a lot of you people is not going to be able to handle that, especially you women. A lot of you women, a lot of these men out here, they got fucked over by y'all. They're going to get their 10 pounds of flesh on you, man. They're going to get their 10 pounds of flesh, and you're going to be destroyed, man.
Yeah.
And don't let it happen during the time of these months right now, where summer months we got women half naked. Yeah, I was coming from work yesterday. I saw this woman get out of my car. Yo, she damn near had a bikini on going across the street to the supermarket. That shit was crazy. I almost got into an accident. I'm like, oh shit, the fuck is that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she got out of her car, ran across the street to the supermarket, which is key for. I'm like, oh shit. You know, what the hell is going on with this bitch? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, a fucking bikini, bro. Like, you know, like
She thought she was at the beach.
no, like a one piece.
Oh, okay.
One piece, and all she had on, she had a one piece, and she had like a shirt, a t-shirt. But she was running, you could see. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? These women are out of order. Imagine when all hell breaks loose, you get caught in the street like that. What's going to happen to you?
Hey, we
I got something real quick.
Go ahead,
too.
man.
But I got a little more. But you want to?
No, because you real quick, because you had mentioned swords in their hands, right?
Yeah.
It says, this is a little excerpt real quick. It says, according to the Small Arms Survey in 2017, the U.S. had an estimated 393.3 million civilian-owned firearms, representing about 46% of the global total of 857 million civilian-held firearms.
That's a militia.
Damn.
This means U.S. civilians own a significant portion of the world's civilian firearms.
That's a
Eventually,
militia.
the government's going to want to come and take those. Because ancient Rome did that. but they came and they took your swords. You couldn't be out seen when they issued martial law. You couldn't have a sword. You're gonna be seen in the. I'm talking about in the daytime. Everybody walked around with a sword. But back then, you couldn't have it when they issued martial law. Yep.
Because this is gonna be real heavy. You know what I'm saying? So
that's gonna really piss people off because that's coming in Trump's term, and the Republicans, they were mad because the whole Obama ban and Harris is trying to ban them. The left, anyways, is trying to ban the guns. But Trump's all about it. You know, whatever they world elites want.
What's the rebellious states? Texas and Maryland,
Bible
Texas,
Belt.
Maryland,
The Midwest.
and who else?
The
They
whole
call it the Bible
Midwest.
Belt. And Missouri and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alabama,
Midwest.
Kentucky.
the whole Midwest.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what Bill Clinton did, what George Bush did with the Patriot Act, and then what this dude Barack Obama did with the National Defense Authorization
Yeah, I forgot
Act,
about that
they
too,
put everything in effect, but they put everything on record, on books, but they didn't activate it.
Yeah.
Who's going to activate all that shit? I think it's going to be Trump.
Well, he signed a lot of that shit in January. That nigga signed in the papers for weeks straight. All the
Yeah.
executive orders was coming out.
For weeks, and then
Yeah.
So these presidents, they put shit on paper, but don't activate them because it's for a future time. And
You can sign an executive order. Doesn't mean it's going to get passed in the law. It still has to go to the Senate. There's a lot of it's a judicial process that takes time.
now, what this big beautiful law did, when Trump, when everybody was eating burgers and French fries and hot dogs, Donald Trump was signing executive orders called Big Beautiful Law. That came in effect, and then
The big beautiful bill.
the big beautiful bill, and then what happened was, it went to Congress, it went to the Senate, they passed that shit overwhelmingly. That shit got passed quick.
Because that's when they do it on holidays, because a lot of these motherfuckers be partying and then they send their people.
Well, no,
in.
not this one. This one, they had somebody on Senate read the entire 954
And
pages.
then they passed that shit overwhelmingly. So now, Section 8 snapped all this shit.
all the government health programs.
Yeah, a
you
lot of
be on
hospital
that?
closures. You gotta look up where there's a hospital closure in the area now.
Well, that's why the scripture says, woe unto thee that go down to Egypt for help. You have a lot of our people that haven't worked in 10, 20, 30 years. Because they
Yeah.
have these different SNAP programs, they live in these affordable houses, just completely relying on the government.
Yeah.
So the big beautiful bill, it's a series of tax cuts, like the tax cuts this, tax cuts, but it's transferring money. So they're gonna fund most of those cuts, the tax cuts to, individuals, whatever, from cutting a lot of those programs that help, people that rely on the government.
Like, can I say something? Like in the 5 boroughs, you got NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority, right? Now, a lot of that is affordable housing, go by income. Well, like basically what your rent is, what you make on your paycheck. These sneaky motherfuckers did was they started selling assets, so it switched from the NYCHA to Section 8, and Section 8 going under. There's some real bullshit. You see what I mean? And then they're gonna take that away.
So what they do with Section 8, now you ain't allowed to be on Section 8. I know people that been on Section 8 for over 20 years, man. Over 20 years. And don't want to work, never held a job in their life, receiving public assistance, and Section 8, 3-bedroom apartment. Here it is, I got a 1-bedroom apartment paying all this money, and you got a 3-bedroom apartment only paying $100-something a month.
Yeah, I know a chick like that in DC. She pays $18 for her rent. She got a 2 or 3 bedroom in a nice area.
Yeah,
They
$18.
know how to finesse. It's a trap. That's a snare. Well, let's go back to some scriptures.
Because y'all mentioned the big beautiful bill, and when they did one of the vote, it was 51-50. So
Oh yeah, it was J.D. Vance was the last person, right, to
So-
sign off on it.
So it says in California, 5150 is a legal code, section 5150 of the Welfare and Institution Code that allows for the involuntary psychiatric hold of an individual who is deemed a danger to themselves, a danger to others, or gravely disabled due to mental health disorder. So just looking at it from a spiritual aspect, 5150 with Esau lets you know just how chaotic and just he's loony, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that nigga Corey Holcomb. He called the show the 5150 show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it more?
No, that was it. That was it. Just to point out Esau just being chaotic, you know.
No, I was going to actually bring out scripture.
So this is back in Ezekiel chapter.
Hold on. Let him bring this out real quick. Go ahead.
Isaiah 10:1.
Yeah.
Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
Right, so you can see logically why people would support the big beautiful bill. I want more money. I'm tired of paying for people that aren't working. Now, many lessons been warning against welfare because that welfare was a trap that was first used on Gad. What it does is it incentivizes the breaking up of homes, right? Because it said, okay, look, we'll take care of you, all right, but if you're living together as a mother and a father together,
You can't have that.
you can't have it. So it was incentivizing people to say, you know what, I'm not going to rely on the father figure. The woman and the child will then be supported by the government, but a father provides more than just financial security. You know what I'm saying? This is how come you have what you have today. So if you think about it, welfare and a trust fund, baby, two sides of the same coin, all right? This is how come you don't want to give somebody too much money to where they don't do anything.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
there's a movie back in the 70s called this.
One second, brother. What this society is doing is pretty much incentivizing people to be bigger failures. You know, like if you fail in school education, guess what? You get this program. If you fail this, you fail that. We get this program, that program, and all that does is create more and more support. But that is all done by design. This is not by coincidence.
Sirach chapter 30 verse 3 says, he that teaches his son grieveth the enemy.
Yeah. And the scriptures also, in terms of this topic, the scripture says what? The borrower is servant to the lender. When the government, that's how come this is what they want to do. They want to socialize everything, right? Meaning have the government subsidize everything. You have this guy, what's the guy that just won the Democratic mayor candidate? The Muslim guy.
The Muslim, yeah, I know. I forgot his name. But doing some shit. But doing some shit.
You can look it up. Monbeer.
Madambi, some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Zoran.
Madambi, some shit.
Basically, he's a socialist, and his whole thing is this: to have the government subsidize everything. You know what I'm saying? Now, you have it?
You gonna fuck New York City up.
Zoran Mandani. Yeah, and
You gonna fuck New York City up.
bro, this guy wants government fucking stores, government this, government that, and all. The way they want to fund that is by putting more taxes on the rich. Now, the rich pay the most taxes in the United States. Most of the taxes that's paid in the United States is paid by the rich. I'm saying 1%. They pay most of the taxes. You know how much taxes? Like 8 point something. You pay like 8 point something billion over a year. They pay the most. So they want to tax them more. And what you want to, the purpose of that is this. You want to create a bigger and bigger gap between rich and poor. And the way you attack the rich is by taxing the shit out of them. All right? A lot of people are going to flee New York, but that's what they're trying to do. Create a bigger and bigger gap between the 1% and the 99%.
And that's how they don't want to do it, because they want these 50-minute cities that they can set up in it's gonna be all in poor neighborhoods, man. You can have no 50-minute cities in no rich neighborhood, man.
And that all that's gonna do, if you look at socialism on paper,
friction.
Well, like think about it, right? Why would I want to work 10 hours overtime if you're gonna work regular 8 hours and you both get the same shit? There's no incentive. There's no incentive to do more, be more, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's the sort of their whole agenda is they want to create something called UBI, Universal Basic Income, where machines are doing everything and your ass is just being supported by the government.
And
control.
You sit home and they give you $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, whatever they say.
They just send it to your chip.
Yeah, but
They give you
credit
to your chip. You look at the chip. Oh, I got this much.
Okay, and you can't save no money because it came out that you can't save once you get that money's on your chip. You can't save no money because once that you got a month to spend that shit, and once that month is up and you ain't spend that shit within a month, they're gonna delete that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk, man. That's what it came out, man.
They're tokenizing everything. That's how come you have stable coins. You know, stable coins is gonna. It's all gradualism. Stable coins is gonna eventually lead to this complete control of currency. You were reading that?
I got it.
Yeah, finish up.
So it's back in 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse it says back in 16 it says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall be in they shall stand in their power.
That's why you see the government buildings in D.C. They boarded up, put barricades around the White House and the U.S. Treasury building because they're expecting. I think it's either yesterday or today they had the No King 2.0 protest.
Yeah.
And they were expecting another a big legal legislation review that a lot of people are going to be upset about. I don't know if that was the big beautiful bill or if it's another one, but they're leaving them gates up indefinitely. You know.
And you know, you made a big valid point. They always do shit on the holiday where everybody distracted. Why you was eating burgers and flipping burgers and eating goddamn fucking corn on the cob on the grill and eating what you call that hot dogs. The big beautiful bill was being passed and they overwhelmingly passed that shit quick. They went to the Senate and they passed that shit quick.
You know what's funny too? I was just thinking back to the Trayvon Martin thing.
Yeah.
Remember they revealed that the dude was not guilty. It was like 9 p.m. on Saturday night.
When nobody's paying attention.
Verdict.
A lot of shit happens on Saturday. Both assassination attempts Saturday, the bombing at the Iran strike Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
The collapse of the economy, or when they when the economy crumbles was the stock market. Always happened on the weekend. It happened on a Friday night.
47 and 12. Isaiah 47.
It happens on a Friday night. Right or wrong, it happens on anytime a big event happens, it happens on the beginning of the weekend. So people not paying attention. You get the news Monday.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, it's happened here. It happened over the weekend. If you wasn't paying attention, you was too busy in the world. You a person in the world. Saturday is a day of the world.
Yeah.
Sunday is a day of so-called rest. When nobody's paying attention to nothing, they're just resting, relaxing. Monday's when they get back on the groove of things.
That's why generally you get paid on Fridays unless you got like sometimes like a 15 end of month type of deal.
Yeah, semi-monthly.
Yeah.
There we go.
Isaiah 47 and 12. Yeah,
Oh.
this is Isaiah 47 verse 12.
God, every week, bro.
Go ahead.
It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth.
Right, so Esau's gonna have to deal with that stuff. He's gonna have to deal because he's created all this. You think you know what's going on and doing certain things on certain days? It's gonna spin out of control and you're not gonna know what to do. You know? Just like with you're gonna release something on a certain day when nobody's expecting it, they're gonna find out and then the sedition gonna break up.
Yeah.
Spirit one.
Probably something right there.
Sometimes they'll do that, bro. They'll see you and act like they don't see you.
Yeah.
I remember when one of the managers at the time, she was like, the soul and shit. I'm like, yeah, you sold me.
She was looking at me. She caught my eye contact right outside. I said, "Oh my God!" So she saw me.
It just gets annoying, bro. I know.
She's acting like she didn't see me, but I woke up.
Yo,
I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. But you got a lot of people that broke on my job and live in Washington Heights. You know what I'm saying?
it says, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail.
Right, but he's not because that's good right there, bro. Because when we was reading it here, it says they're gonna go up against the kings and the princes. They're not gonna regard the powers in place. So you're not all the sorcery and all the pulling a rabbit out the hat magic trick. That's just not gonna work. Eventually, it's gonna stop. The Satan's power is gonna get cut off from them. You know.
The Most High is gonna be like, okay, because the Lord is allowing Satan on the left hand side to bless you with all kind of riches and all kind of wealth, and like I said, in Sonoma County, in 2 weeks from now, the 14th to the 21st of July, they're gonna hold a Bohemian Grove, and they're gonna have the cremation of kid where they're gonna sacrifice some little kid, man. And that goes on every year.
There's a brother in our camp. It was the last week, the week before. His brother Yaga, he said that in D.C. in 1 week, 43 kids went missing.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just in D.C. You know.
And then you had this dude in Queens on the subway. It was all over TikTok. This
Try to
dude
kidnap some chick,
tried
right?
to snatch some chick up. She was screaming
In broad
"Help
daylight."
me! Help me! No, I don't think it was a pimp because because he was it could have been, but he from the Latin tribe and she was a Jake woman, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to snatch her up, you know what I mean? Trying to sex traffic. I don't know what they were trying to do, but it was 3 dudes trying to snatch her up. She was fighting tooth and nail. And the reason why she didn't get snatched up, the old men on the train was like, let her go. Everybody was like, let her go. People started taking their phones out, so they kind of ran. They skedaddled off the train. It happened in Queens the other day, man. On the train.
Broad daylight.
Boy, they getting brazen with their shit, you know what I'm saying? They getting brazen with their shit. Soon they pulled up in the station, they was there to snatch her up, man. They probably was on the train with her and snatch her off the train, they were trying to pull her off the train. So apparently they was on the train with her scheming on her, you know what I mean?
Yeah, now imagine when food is scarce, you know what I'm saying? What people are doing, their stomachs are thinking for them. And they got 2, 3 kids, you
Thinking
know
for
what I'm
them.
saying?
People gonna be a milk.
Yeah, like they show you that movie, the road, and also the other one where they had that baby on the skew.
That was in the book, but they didn't put it in the movie.
Yeah, that was in the book. It's saying on the book, but yeah, they put it in the movie. But
I gotta read the book,
the
bro.
book was deep, bro. The book
Books are always more vivid than the actual movies.
Yeah, baby on the skewer, but they said that was too graphic.
So the baby was in the skew, and they was, rubbing, and it was a woman turning the fucking skew. It wasn't no man, it was a woman.
Yeah, just like the scriptures.
Yo, this shit is crazy, bro. It was a woman turning the skew, and the baby was roasting,
You know your mind gotta be all the way
Slow
gone
roasted.
when you just comfortable with the fucking baby. Just slow roasting like.
Toes and everything.
And you see the grease or the blood, whatever the shit was dripping down. It was described in graphic detail in the book, but it didn't show it in the movie.
I gotta listen to the audio book. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I'm the next one.
This is Jeremiah chapter 19, verse 9. And it says, I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat everyone the flesh of their friend in the siege and straitness wherewith their enemies and they seek their lives shall straighten them.
Yeah, the Lord gonna put demons on these people, man. Some people that take the chip, you're gonna think you're gonna benefit because maybe you get an MRE or whatever the hell they got in place in your wherever you live at. But then you're gonna be turning looking at your loved ones like, maybe I can actually do this the right way, or I'll just sever it the correct way or some shit. Absolutely not. But the Lord's gonna put demons on people, and it doesn't take long for cannibalism to break out. Especially with people that ain't never had nothing. I'll be watching these survival shows, survivalist shows, they be eating some crazy stuff, you know? And they're in some dire situations. That's what's gonna happen to Keisha. What the hell is Keisha gonna do? She don't know how to start a fire.
I be watching some survival shows, so they be eating all kind of crazy shit. You be like, how can you eat that shit, man?
Right.
They ain't surviving.
Jake gonna be grumpy.
They had an episode on the survival show where they had it between like men. So it was a group of men and a group of women. All the group of men fell in line. Everyone knew what they were good at. Everyone was following order. The women were just all over the place.
They all about to die.
Right? Fast forwarding because so fast forwarding because they couldn't find no food. The production gave them a little pig to slaughter. These little bitches they named the pig
And made him a pet.
and made him a pet.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, they was like, "Listen, just go over to the
That's the
men."
one that the bitch she went out to go find food. She got lost for like 6 hours.
Yeah, but
The woman did a big fucking circle just to
Yeah.
get back to where they was.
Yeah.
what happened was
And they took their water and contaminated the shit.
it showed the women. It showed the women struggling. It showed the men
Thriving.
They
Thriving.
had to inspect the order.
Yeah.
This guy gonna do this. This guy gonna do that. This guy gonna be the hunting. This guy gonna skin the shit. This guy gonna cook.
Yeah,
they had
they
everything
were
set up.
elevating
And
their
this guy-
sleeping situation.
Yeah.
You had one guy set up the tents and everything. So
And you had a guy that they kept down him because he wasn't like the most physical dude, but he had a brain.
Yeah.
And he figured out how to, instead of catching one fish, he figured out a system to catch mad fishes. And they all started cheering from his shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
So and then you had the women.
The bitches was they was treating the shit like they was on a vacation. Like they didn't want to do shit. They was on a beach tanning. They
And then when shit got hectic,
I don't know.
when shit got hectic,
Kevin Samuels brought it out. That's when brothers looked it up.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you when all hell break loose, these women, man, they're done, they're finished.
I don't need no man. I could do things by myself, but these bitches was in dire straits.
They was about to die,
The
man.
production company gave them a fucking pig. They cheated. Gave them a pig, and what these bitches do, they didn't slaughter the pig. Nah, they gave him a name and fucking made him a pet.
The martial art bitches, they gonna be the first to get taken out. They gonna get wiped off the back.
How about that chick, the
From
martial art chick that the MMA chick that was
Got her
working,
ass
and she tried to fight her coworker. And nigga was like 6'4", and she kept on coming out. She said, all I wanted to do was grab him where I could choke him out. But every time I try to get him, he would punch me to the floor. I would get back up and try to fight him again. He'd punch me to the floor again.
Yeah, these women gonna
She
learn.
had demons on her, bro. Cause
Yeah, all that masculine energy is gonna go out the window. You
yo,
know?
she had demons on her because, first and foremost, the nigga snuffled to the floor, and she jumps back up and try to charge him again and try to jump on his back and try to choke him out.
Yeah, Keisha's damn near indestructible. It takes a lot to kill Keisha. No, for real, bro. Gunshots, stabs, you know.
But she called that she's one of them, she called that how this dude, what's his name again? He's always say that, T-150, what's his name again? Damn. He always coming up against black women. I'm saying, what's his name again? Damn, nah, it's a black dude. I'm saying he's hated because they banned him from YouTube because he be coming against women and they started banning him. But Tommy Sotomayor, whatever his name is.
Oh, okay, Tommy.
So he was calling them, T-150s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
T-150s.
Hey, point that name, Airhead. Go ahead.
Ezekiel 7:7 now. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come. The day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains.
Right, and the day of trouble is near, because especially with this big, beautiful bill, the 666 bill, that has a whole list of hospital closings. And I'll never forget this quote I saw recently. The guy was upset because his hospital was on the closure list, so that means a lot of the people in his town are going to die.
They're going to lose
'Cause
jobs.
the next hospital is an hour away. So if something serious is going on, you got to drive an hour minimum just to get to the hospital, which also plays into the part of their depopulation.
Unless you get back helicopter and they take you get there in 20 minutes or 10
That's
minutes.
an expensive taxi cab ride.
Mhm.
You know, just to
Insurance
ride,
ain't covering that.
Just to ride in the ambulance, it's like $750.
Yeah.
Insurance ain't covering that hospital ride.
So what they doing? So those are hospitals that are like government subsidized? Or?
Yeah, they're gonna get closed.
Government
down.
funding.
Yeah.
So now they're closing a lot of
nothing, though.
they're closing
Yeah.
a lot of hospitals, even in New York City. They're gonna close a couple of hospitals. I think
They've been pushing for that for years to have private healthcare instead of.
Yeah.
You know the reason why healthcare is so expensive because it is the government. Like if you think about it like this, right? Why is heart surgery $100,000? Where's that price come from? Or $500,000? Where's that coming from? What? Why is that? Where did that number come from? It's because all that number is like you know when the mob kind of racketeer, like we have a set price, we're gonna do that like they do with oil. They do a lot of that shit with the medical. Now, LASIK eye surgery, when it initially came out, it was supposed to be like a subsidized procedure. That shit was $24,000, bro.
God damn.
Now you can get that shit for like $2K.
Yeah.
Because they made it private, meaning people could compete. If hospitals was just completely competitive, a lot of shit would be a lot cheaper, bro.
But then what they're doing now is just like how like Montefiore started buying out like a lot of different hospitals. On Northwell Health, they're primarily based out in Long Island. They been working their way up.
Oh, they're coming over here now?
They bought out the hospital that I just got hired at. They bought them motherfuckers out. So they starting to really buy out every hospitals to where it may reach a point where it's probably going to be like between 2 to 4 main hospital brands, and it's like now it's kind of going to like maybe similar to like Monopoly. They're going to make their own prices.
They're already doing that now, but I guess it's going to even be more consolidated.
Yeah.
And shit is crazy because they're gonna stop taking private. They're gonna stop taking Medicare because
Yeah, that's what
government.
we're doing right now.
Because, yo, that's split because
Government issue.
bring it up because it's government issue. So they're gonna cut that. They're gonna cut that shit out. So they gonna be so a lot of these women on Medicare that's receiving Medicare, they done off, man. They don't even realize how fucked they are.
Even like certain like doctors already, even like I had to change my son's dentist because they put out the word like we're only taking private now.
No more government
And-
issue Medicare.
And that like where her office was located, it was primarily in a Jake neighborhood, except the Medicaid. But now it's like Medicaid comes with a certain group of people. For the most part, ratchet ass ghetto Jake
Yeah.
coming to the establishment.
In other words, if you want to keep these government programs, you have to work a minimum of a certain amount of hours a week.
80 hours a week.
Yeah,
No,
that's-
it's 80 hours a month.
80 hours a month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 20 hours a week minimum. So that
Listen to
nigga
this.
saying you got to go back to work.
It says bottom line. I told you to summarize the big beautiful bill as it relates to healthcare. It says at the end, it says bottom line for drug policy, the bill brings transparency and PBM reform, but may delay cost reduction in rare disease medication. For patients and public health expect increased out-of-pocket costs, potential loss of coverage for millions, and pressure on rural health infrastructure, particularly cancer, chronic, and pandemic-related care.
If you don't have, if you're not covered by your job, some people covered by the military. You know, if you're not covered, then you're gonna have to.
Shit, even trying to buy insurance to your job is expensive too.
But you paying into that, so
yeah, not too crazy, bro.
So you paying into that, so you paying into, so they're going to help you. They're going to work with you. You pay as long as your insurance coincides with the person, say with any hospital that you want to go to. You know what I mean? If they cover that insurance bill, if they're a part of that program, then you good. So
that's what I've been telling brothers. A lot of stuff advice we've been giving brothers to the spirits, like tell brothers, look, fuck that gig work. Get you a real job with benefits and all that shit.
So you got some kind of fallback when you get sick or something. You need surgery. You need that shit come out your, because Medicare they doing away with that shit. Medicare, SNAP is only gonna be for the people that's old, and you only gonna have 2 years optional on that shit right there, man.
But
after that,
now this bill right here, it's designated to last up until 2028, but it can be continued. You know, if they, I don't see the Democrats coming back, bro. I don't. They want too far less. So I think, you know, if this shit goes, it's gonna stay red.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of stuff takes effect in the fall of 2026. Some of it takes effect this fall.
October 1st, 2025 is when this shit's gonna really take effect of these government programs. You know, like, you know,
and they give them in the bill. There's also more funding to ICE. So ICE is now funded about like $5 billion. I think they said they escalate that to like 45 now. So they're gonna be going heavy on deporting a lot of jakes.
Yeah.
Well,
they ain't fucking around.
Well, here it is. You got this couple. They went to Barbados. You know, it was on TikTok. They went to Barbados. They tried to come back, and they was like, they were stuck out there. They couldn't come back because Donald Trump banned them from coming back.
Wow.
And it was U.S. citizens, Jay. U.S. citizens.
Even people that are visiting here on vacation, they getting hauled off, and they got proof that they're just here on vacation.
But they can't come back to their country because Trump is banning travel from domestic travel and international travel from here in New York City, not New York City, from America, other countries.
A lot of people from my job got shipped out. When I was on my way to the gym, I saw a bunch of ICE agents in front of the gym.
Damn.
Yeah,
really?
Bro. Yeah, I saw a bunch of ICE agents early in the morning. They was there. Because you know how they dress, you know how they look. They look like regular dudes with the vest and shit. ICE. They were
At the gym over there by.
Not by
me, but the other one.
By B, yep.
Oh shit.
Yep.
The one that we go to all the time.
Yeah, yep.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
They be there early in the morning too. 3 hours in the morning. Or
Yo.
And they went to my job and they was there 3 hours and I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker was there. And a lot of people that I know, you know, I ain't gonna mention their names, man, but they got caught up, man. Here it is, you've been in this country for 20 years, you overstayed your visa, but you got so lax and everything. Fuck Trump. You know, he wanted Joe Biden to remain president because he was laxing the laws. He's with immigration coming in.
Open the borders up crazy.
So when Trump got in, you didn't still take key. You still had ample time to take care of your shit, but you didn't, and now you got deported. And you got a family over that you left. You know what I mean?
And it sucks because they taking away a lot of the good. Like you had some, when Biden opened the borders, you had a lot of criminals come through. Rightfully so, they got to get the fuck out of here. But you have a lot of hard-working immigrants, so-called. Here.
Abiding by the law, you know what I mean?
Abiding by the law, doing everything, and now they getting lumped up all at once. So you have some people that came here to just work hard and that's going. But
Precept. This is Ezekiel 36 and verse 19. It says, "And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way and according to their doing. I judged them." So you know how Esau is making a run to come after Levi, which is part of the southern kingdom. They could easily, you know, mix up Benjamin and Judah with Levi and say, listen, y'all all the same, y'all all look alike, and then, you know, that's a part of the Lord's judgment, but they're gonna get some pushback.
Yeah, how are you gonna be able to tell the difference between somebody that's Haitian or Cuban? You know, a lot of Cubans are
Yeah.
dark too.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing was, Barack Obama had more deportation than any president. But the difference between Barack Obama and Trump is Barack Obama was doing it at the border. Trump, the big news on Trump is he's getting people that's already settled in here. Why? Because those past 4 years on the Biden, man, that shit went like just an insane amount of just Any
bringing
nation
school
of
buses.
yeah, bro, school buses, sanctuary cities.
Not that school buses, 2 or 3 school buses coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, debit cards, care
sanctuary
packages.
cities, and then we had to pay for it. So of course that's gonna create resentment and people pissed off. So this blowback is just sort of in reaction to what the past 4 years have been.
And then a lot of women, they're getting on TikTok, a lot of Latin women, and a lot of Asian women saying, oh, we voted for you, but now you turn your back on us and now you deported us. You deported my husband and my son.
That's what they thought was gonna happen.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell into them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
So this situation with ICE is like pretty much a foreshadowing of what's gonna happen to a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna come, snatch you up, bring up all sorts of false accusations. I mean, you got AI now, bro. So, and the AI that they're showing us is probably like 20, 30 years old. So they have some shit right now, bro, that can't even differentiate, bro.
Yeah,
So they
thinks for itself. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, AI will just thinks for itself.
so-called.
So-called.
Yeah, because that whole part of it, brother, that whole notion of AI is going to be Terminators and that's all fairy tales because there's no such thing as free will. If we don't have free will, how the fuck AI is going to have it?
Yeah.
So you can't create free will. Everything is programmed, including those machines. And they have facial recognitions. They could frame brothers, put you on camera saying shit you don't say. That's how come every time you do these videos, you got to put out disclaimers like, look, we're not telling you to do X, Y, Z and stuff like that. You got to, CYA, cover your ads.
Because what they do,
1 second, man. Go ahead, huh?
Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Yeah, who shall have pity upon thee or bemoan, have pity or sorrow for? All right? No, none of these nations are gonna pity the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. All right? They all the nations outside the nation of Israel move as a collective to crush the nation of Israel, lick our wounds, and just basically exploit us. All right, so no one's gonna have us being deported, our people, and y'all got it.
As much as but those nations over there in what they call the Middle East, Asiatic nations, all these nations that are fighting, they'll speak out in the media about, hey, the U.S. stop picking on us when you got shit you're dealing with in your own land. Like Iran will always speak about what's going on with the so-called Negro over here. So as much as they say and they point that stuff out, they're still not going to turn around and say, well, these are the people of the Lord. As much as they hate the people that are in Israel right now, they're not going to turn around and say, well, we know there's the Israelites over there, because then they'll know they'll lose their power. Yeah. They know how it went down in history when we woke up to who we are or returned to our power.
right,
So they're going to fight over land and all that stuff, but don't expect them to have pity upon us. Because to have pity upon us means you have to tell us who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us our land is ours.
the only one that came out somewhat and said that
Come on, Nasser.
no, it said that the
It was Gaddafi, right?
Going into how the
Ahmadinejad.
him too, but also recently going into how the biblical prophets was black and everything, opened the vote was bottom of the poop.
Oh, yeah.
He did that to get back at the Democrats.
I remember that.
He opened that shit up last year and showed the vote of how he said you all been worshiping a deity that does not exist, and the true deity, you'd be surprised, open the vote. He showed a so-called black Messiah, and all the biblical prophets, Isaiah, everybody he showed, they was all had skin, has men of color, and he was like, now you're gonna look at everything in a different perspective. And he was speaking in his language, so they was translating. So who knows? He was saying that, but they was translating. I'm saying, who knows if he was saying that? So.
And Jeremiah says they shall bring forth the bones, spread them out before the sun. In the earth, he said the earth shall help the woman.
With the artifacts and all the things. But I got a precept, because the America's using this, the Lord is using this bitch to bring forth his agenda. And this is Jeremiah 51 verse 7. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Now, wine is a philosophy, man, that they have drunken. Because since the time of the Renaissance, when they came back into power up until now, all they've been doing is pushing lies and deceit, you know, with their philosophies, you know, and pushing plantation Christianity, you know, upon the people. If you didn't take Christianity, you got put to death. So, hey man, the Lord used this nation, man.
Yeah, that's what the Spanish Inquisition was all about. It was either you worship paganism and leave your customs, or meet the sword.
We kill you.
Yeah, that's, you know, they call them Jacobites or the Covenanters. The same thing with Islam. A lot of in Africa are into Islam and Muslim because the sword came to them. They had no choice, you know.
And a lot of that shit happened because of the Turks. Because the Edomite Turks, like Turkey right now, modern day Turkey right now, the reason why they're part of NATO is they know, these Edomites know, they have the records that those are Ottoman Turks. And it was Edomites that converted to Islam. So they know. The leader of Turkey, Erdogan, whatever his name is, he's a goddamn Edomite, a cryptic Jew.
Yeah, that's why they said. That's why the second season of The Wire, when the dude that got was responsible for them girls dying in the container, The Wire, the series, he was like, "Yo, you're Ottoman Turk, but you got a hooked nose." You know what I mean? The so-called Greeks, they wasn't Greeks. They was like, "Yo, yeah, this is not the old world. Don't worry about it." And he killed him. He said, "Look, he bleeds like a lamb," but showing that they were Khazars. That fat dude was a Khazar.
So that's why they allowed Turkey into NATO, because NATO was consist of, you can have no Muslim country. How you got one Muslim country that's a part of NATO? It's strategic. It's in a place where it can help them. It's in Asia, and not only that, they Ottoman Turks, man. They the fucking crypto Jews that during the time of the during the time of the Crusades, they was the Muslims and the Christians. I mean, they was fighting against it. So
they came from east and went west.
Yeah, come. So come on, man. So we know the history, man.
Let's jump back in there.
I had a quick piece.
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
That's right.
Yeah, so all these nations, they have a plan. Specifically Esau here in America, for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they call it a contingency plan. You know, if boom, boom, boom happens, this is what we're gonna do. It's like when they have military drills. That's why Obama, during his office, he militarized the police force. Now, what did Trump do? He said he was gonna unleash the police force on the people because he's got to protect the blue lives. You know, they put out that document how the police force can start use if they need to use lethal force when ready. You know,
Show you
so
how.
to protect the cops. You know,
To show you how each president set the stage for the next president and act the law that they sign into the law, that they sign on the bill, they put on paper. So Barack Obama did this, but he didn't enact it with anything. The NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, man, that's been put on paper by 2012 on New Year's, on the weekend of New Year's, when everybody was partying and getting drunk. But now, that shit is in the hands of Donald Trump to enact it, to activate that bill, you know? Activate that bill and put everybody on, you know, on higher alert on what they're gonna do. This is crazy, man. We live in some crazy times, man. We live in some crazy times. And each president have their agenda. And Donald Trump signing executive order after executive order. If he's not the last president, the next president that's gonna come in, they're gonna activate the shit. But I think Donald Trump, aka
he's
Nero,
that guy.
he's that guy that's gonna, you know, lead this place to destruction.
yeah, the way he's talking, especially saying basically he wants to make the migrants slaves. He's like he's gonna fly off the handle a little too far, and the people are gonna try and rise up, and then it might enact something, you know. Or a natural disaster. One way something's gonna happen. It could be a false flag. We're still waiting on that too. You know?
Yeah, a whole lot of shit can happen.
Man, a lot has happened since this guy's only been in office.
It's not even 7 months.
Yeah, but it feel like 7 years. Ezekiel 7 and 8. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish mine anger upon thee. And I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abomination. Verse 9. It's locked in. And mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense thee according to thy ways, and thine abominations that are in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord that smiteth.
Keep going.
Behold, behold the day, behold it is come, the morning is gone forth, the rod hath blossomed, pride hath budded. It says, violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness, none of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor of any of theirs.
Yeah, 2/3 of Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Lord is telling you you're self-destructive. So he's got to get rid of you. You know, you have a murderous mindset. Whether it's actually going out there and killing a man, robbing a man of his wages, destroying the family by sleeping with a woman or something like that.
Black culture.
Yeah, black culture, man. Hey, we're experiencing black fatigue too. You know what I'm saying? It's tiring.
Black culture is a motherfucker because black culture consists of.
That's the abomination, you know, in the midst of our people.
I saw this woman. She's coming with she got 2 small boys and a little girl that's like 3 years old. She holding her hand. She just put her phone out and started twerking in front of her son's looking at her while she's twerking. They had to be like about 7 or 8 years old, and they're looking at her while she's twerking. I mean, she had a demon that jumped on her. She just took her phone out while she walked with her baby, and it's it's crazy, bro.
That's why they need this. Go ahead.
Neither shall there be wailing for them. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoiceth, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get touched. Those that got it and those that don't got it. He said the devil's come down upon the whole earth having great wrath. All right, he wants to upload everybody to his system. It doesn't matter. He said rich or great, free or bond. You know, he wants everybody on it. But it comes with great wrath, pressure. See, we don't want you people to believe us now. Believe us when you haven't eaten in 3 days, when the power's gone out.
Yeah.
The Lord is going to attack your pockets first. That's what people don't understand. They expecting just boom, the food's not there anymore. No, the prices are going to go up a little bit. The prices are still going up, bro. A good decent size of fresh squeezed orange juice is like $10. That's insane.
Yeah, and you got eggs that's just crazy right now, man. A dozen of eggs, 12 eggs, man. It's damn near
Yo, you
$15,
better off getting
man.
a fucking chicken. Get it, you know?
Yeah.
Or finding somebody who's got their own chicken.
Well, you can go to a live poultry place and buy a whole chicken, buy a live chicken. They'll sell it to you. You know, because when I went, you know, for the Passover to get the live lamb, they had like a baby little goat. And I was like, oh, that shit, it was cute. He was jumping around and kicking and everything. And so she said, I sell it to you, give me $300. But I said, well, but mom, at first I was like, oh, wait, yeah? But mom, I said, nigga, what you gonna do with that shit? Right. Where you gonna keep it at when it get big? It's gonna get bigger. It ain't gonna stay out looking like that no more. It's gonna get big.
That's why we get out of here, you know?
I have a quick precept.
Go ahead in there.
Hosea 5:15.
Yeah.
I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
See that? It said, until they acknowledge their offense. Our people aren't going to do that. That takes humiliation. You got to be humble. To acknowledge an offense, that means you're stepping up, you say, humiliate me. No grown man wants that. Especially women. Women don't want to be humiliated. They don't want to be called out for the things they've been doing. Also, the Lord said, you know what? I'm going to disappear. When you're ready to be humiliated, I'm not going to be there. Go ahead.
That was it.
Oh, yeah.
That's typically when Jake tend to seek a higher power. They got locked up or their back is against the wall. That's when the Lord come back in their mind. So when all hell break loose and all this stuff start happening, you're gonna have guys dust off the Bible, make it the cowboys off the garment, try to go back out there.
It's gonna be too late.
Too late, man.
Right.
Too late, my man.
Y'all was mentioning inflation and all of that.
They got
this is-
shrinkflation as well.
Yep. This is Revelation 6 and verse 5 to 6. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
That's going into the money system. That's going into how inflation is going to affect everybody. Look what's going on with the food. I mean, I was in Aldi's and I saw some beef ribs, 4 beef ribs. They wanted $60 for that shit. I'm like, what? But 4 beef ribs, the big ones, the Flintstone ribs. They wanted $60 for them. Usually, this is like, 28, 25. I could deal with that.
Barney Rubble, trouble. Verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Damn, all that. So a day's work for all that.
Yep.
That's not much. We do a day's work. You know what, bro? I got 1 and 6 also. So it's like compounding effects on Jake. You got the curses on your ass, shit going up, like, and you got Jakes that still don't want the Lord to come back. Crazy.
And not only that, I remember back in the 90s, in the early 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s, $100 get you 3-4 bags of groceries. Now $100 getting you 2 bags, if that.
One bag. You get
One
all the
bag,
good stuff.
And you gotta pay for the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta pay for the bag, yeah. So you get 1 bag of groceries for $100, you know what I'm saying?
Dang, yo, he saw if he could, he would fucking charge you for farting, carbon tax.
Another thing that they was doing is if you pay for your groceries with Snap, the bags are free.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know all that.
The bags are free. So once they cut those fundings, there's women who want to rack up on 10 bags, mad food. How you gonna carry it out?
People was finessing Snap, like I'll buy you groceries for XYZ, you pay me this. There's a bunch of shit Jake was doing.
Yeah, you know what? I ran across women that was doing that. They would give you $150 worth of Snap right there, and all they want was $100 or $125. You know what I'm saying? They give you $150 or
They
extra
start
$25.
cracking on it. They start cracking down, and mainly because people would do that on spite, and Jake could call on the Arabs or whatever, like, yo, if they don't get their way, and be like, yo, he doing this and doing that, and then they lose their
I'm talking about women that would go take you to the supermarket with you. Yeah, they would go to the supermarket with you, and $125 in Snap benefits gets you way more food than $125 in cash, man.
Yeah.
So you like rack it up, you come out of that shit like, oh shit, you know what I mean? So it's easy for you to do that. Then for you to spend $125 in cash, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
The truth. See? The oil and the wine is the truth. The scriptures was in Isaiah 50, coming by, milk, food, all that for free. It's talking about the scriptures.
That is dead.
Man.
They dead, but the cars I just walked by, them Oreos they got on the top of it, on that hat, that look like an Oreo, them shits be like 5, 10, 20 G's.
Yeah, I was told that.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, ask all together about it.
Yeah, he was saying that depending on what they got on their head, it shows how much wealth they have.
Yeah.
So that's a wealthy man right there.
Yeah, that Oreo up there.
Like the bigger it is or something, or?
Yeah, the bigger it is, the
So-called
more
Jews
elegant
are-
it looks.
So-called Jews are bland as fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, how the like it's so crazy. Like when you understand the truth, like you read these scriptures, all the flavor and salt Jake got, that's supposed to be them.
Right.
And then
Go ahead, I forget
Isaiah.
that, man.
This is the man.
Go ahead.
This is Haggai quoted it. This is Haggai chapter 1. This is Haggai chapter 1 verse 6. It says, "Ye have sown much and bring in little."
You're doing 80 hours, some crazy amount of hours, and just life is eating that shit away. Go ahead, bro.
Yep.
Life is life.
They gonna take most of that shit in taxes.
Yeah, the more you make, the more they take.
Yeah.
You see, the scriptures is 10%. That's it. Esau, the more you make, the more I'm gonna take. Go ahead.
Yeah, you get a fucking contract for $40 million, you're gonna keep 17, 16, 17 million.
Yeah. Ask some NFL players. They check is like crazy disproportionate tax. Go ahead, bro.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Man, sometimes you just like, I was thinking like, this gotta be like the amount of shit you go through in the street, you're like, you gotta be a Lord. They gotta be able, because this ain't natural. This gotta be the Lord doing this shit. It's like, yo, it's like everything I'm touching, I'm getting fucked. It gotta be a Most High, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And yo, man, it's to the point, bro. You spending this check for next week in your mind already. Like, shit, I gotta pay that. And it's crazy because it's like the more money you make, the more fucking expenses you take on, not even trying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what the fuck? I gotta pay.
Don't get paid every 2 weeks like such.
Shit, man, I get paid semi-monthly.
Weekly is probably even worse.
No, weekly's the best, bro.
No, I'm saying like because money just be in and out.
But I'm saying when you get paid weekly,
I would prefer weekly.
when you get paid weekly, bro, it feel like you're getting more money. Even if you just feel like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got less taxes.
Even the millionaires is feeling it.
You looking forward to that. You getting that check coming. You looking forward to it. You working paycheck to paycheck. You got a little money saved up. Soon as you save a little money, something happens. Whether your whip get fucked up or a bill, or
Car insurance is due.
all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's all kind of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we just under the curses, man, and we just gotta deal with to the Most High.
Let me read this precept. It's Sirach Ecclesiasticus 34 and 22. It says, "He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder."
Yeah, that's the so-called white man wrapped up in a nutshell, all right? These crazy ass taxes is just the worst, bro. You know, but this has been his nature. What it says in the book of Luke, I believe it's Luke the 2nd chapter. Caesar taxed the whole fucking world. You know?
Yeah, everybody in an uproar. They was flipping out and everything.
Well, that's what tariffs are.
Yeah.
Tariffs are a tax on imported goods.
But I got a
Tax this, tax that. Because that's how the government makes its money. The government gets its revenue through taxes.
I got a precept real quick. Listen, Luke chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject unto payments.
Subject on to payments, man. You know? And we know it's cyclical. It's a cyclical business in terms of how the Lord deal with us. There's times brothers just up me on your wildest beliefs. You're like, damn, there's no way I'm gonna so the Lord said, alright, check this out.
Right. Registration due.
This dude, that dude.
Yeah.
Here's a loss in the stock market. Hold that real
That
quick.
shit, registration, that's like 2 and some change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit goes up.
Yeah.
For a fucking stick.
But check this out,
Or if
though.
you got a business, you got a license, it's fucking $20,000 and shit.
This how I know there's a Lord too. Like the Lord will put a brother, because we talking about the financial demon right now. That financial demon will match what the brother's making.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna. I don't want to talk about his business, but like let's say a brother in his truth, I don't know, his salary is $300,000. The Lord might hit him with $100K, some shit, or $200K, some crazy shit. But He's not gonna put that on a brother that's making $50K. That's what I'm saying. You gotta know this gotta be the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be so specific and it'd be just enough to keep you afloat. You know
Balance.
What I'm saying? Balance. Yeah.
I'll say something like a little side job I be doing, right? They're gonna pay it, but if something happened with the insurance, so they owe me 2 weeks checks, and by the time I get paid Thursday, it's gonna be 3 weeks. So you see, it jammed me up. Something with it. They're gonna pay it, but it was some type of confusion on their end.
Are they going to put it all in one and then tax you more?
Might most likely, yo.
Because they put everything on one check. It's on that one check. They want
I'm
tax
looking
shit
like,
out.
yo, this shit unbelievable, you know?
And that's what Esau does, man. Esau, you know, on my old job, you do overtime, you get a separate check. So you get the overtime. They tax you for your check, but the overtime check, you will get taxed, but it won't get taxed as much.
Yeah,
They put it together. You know what I mean? So you can see your money. So you would love doing overtime. Now, overtime, man, fuck overtime.
I told this brother a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, I'm out of the Reds. And then this shit happened out of nowhere. Like, yo, you caught me with the uppercut.
And that's how that shit be, you know what I'm saying? Soon you get enough money, you got a little money saved up, you know what I'm saying? And you're trying to do something happens, man. Something happens, man, all the time, man.
Yeah, bro.
This is back in Luke chapter 3.
Yeah, bro. The Lord definitely put you in His feelings when you do that shit. Like, hey, how the fuck I lose this money, bro? Wow.
Yeah, you know, and then, you know, the other day, like about a week and a half ago, I was,
Revelation 6 and 5.
I fucking lost $150, bro.
Oh, yeah.
This is Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 13. It says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
And that's really how America was built up. You see, the so-called white man got ahead through slavery. You know, granted, you know, I know we always say this, but really, you know, not every cracker had slaves. You know, that was really for the wealthy. But guess what? That was a lot of free labor built up, and the thing is this: Edomites profited as a whole from it.
All of them Edomites benefit off that
They
shit.
benefit
Even
off
if they
that
had no
shit.
slave.
Even if they didn't have, if they didn't outright own slaves, you had an edge, you had an advantage, if you will.
Right.
And but
I would say most of these insurance companies, they was insuring slaves back then. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they got that, like Prudential. That's how they got wealthy. You know what I'm saying? That's how they got established. You know what I'm saying? They were you know, insuring slave for Edomite. You know what I'm saying? Uppity Edomite, insuring slave. If they have it to them, I get paid. I get benefits.
Or a corporation, if it wasn't an insurance company, they had a debt that they needed to collect, people would give them slaves. Then they were still tied there because collateral.
slave was property, bro. That was just like how you own a horse or some shit. It was property. You couldn't just, an Edomite couldn't just come and steal another Edomite, steal a Jake from another Edomite. It was like, you know, that was
With
like
the
property. But that was just years upon years of free labor, just like the prison system, pretty much, right? They working for like 7 cents and shit. That's how come they really they want more people in jail. You know, they make money off the shit. So there's just all this type of defrauding and shit that the so-called white man has done to reap infinite amount of wealth.
Yeah.
But guess what? All right, that's all the will of the Lord. That's all that was set for the Most High. And the most beautiful part about it is the most dumbest nigga you see right here walking around, the 2/3 nigga, he's gonna have all his senses in the kingdom, and that's gonna be fresh in his mind, the shit that the so-called white man did. It's gonna be fresh in all our minds, because we walked this earth so many times, and there's shit, the atrocity the so-called white man did to us, our family, that we don't even remember. Most of us are gonna make all that fresh in our mind, bro.
It's Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 13. It says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
And you know what's so fucked up about this place? That's really how you get ahead in this place.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to be unrighteous. You have to be a
fuck you
slave.
over.
And you gotta sell your soul. You gotta succeed to succeed. A lot of these people that go beyond just talent, like they're really, really up there, they've been bended up, twisted, and compromised in all different types of positions, bro.
Eating poop, drinking urine.
Satanic rituals, all that type of stuff goes on. And that's what is propped up in this society. That's how come you have a lot of one-hit wonders, because they throw like, shit, I'm just talented. All right, listen now, we need to spread these cheeks and go to work. I ain't with that. Whoa. All right, well, nigga, that was your last hit.
Remember Groove Theory? Tell me what you want, baby.
Yeah.
That was a fucking and that was a good ass group right there, Groove Theory.
Yeah, it was.
But that was a one hit wonder, because you know they probably found out like, yo, listen, man, you got that one hit. Tell me what you want to do. That shit went fucking platinum. You know what I'm saying?
And also too, remember they had to phase out positive vibration. All right, listen, we gotta get rid of this whole. These niggas is getting too cool and chill now. They're not killing each other. Let's
Right.
start upping that now. You know what I'm
Arrested
saying?
Development. Remember all that shit? Remember that group? Arrested
They start touring overseas. They left the U.S. and was touring overseas.
Roots. You know what I mean? The roots and shit.
It says that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and give it him
Slavery.
not. Yep. It said, and give it him not for his work.
Yeah, well, slaves wasn't getting shit, man. Right? You got sharecroppers that was trying to get a crop up. That was done. Well, we're gonna promise you 40 acres in a year. All that shit. This man's a devil. He's a lying deceiver. And look, and speaking about taking shit that's not his, is Gad. You know, so-called Native Americans, Seminole Indians, all right? This so-called white man got this land through subterfuge. He didn't even outright take out Gad one-on-one. It was a bunch of lies, deceit, contracts that they didn't even want. What you
It's a
mean?
process.
You know what? Gad used to see like buying, you know, how they sold Manhattan for $5, because to them, that was like, y'all gonna buy the sky. Like, it was like, what do you mean buy the land? You know what I'm saying? So they did all this shit to finesse and be a complete devil, you know? But it was all
$5. It was Bings and some other crazy shit they sold on land for, man. Which is all nothing but deception, you know?
It's about 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All he did was gave you smallpox, death, and destroyed your people.
I got a precept real quick.
Some rock 10
Yeah, chapter 10, verse 8. Esau's not an honest man. You know, I've asked AI several times, in what instance in history has the so-called white man established an empire through trust, you know, honesty, without treachery? It never has.
It never has. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
And that's still going on right now. You got those, you got Edomites linking up with Moab over there in the Congo. They got that river where it's a specific element in that river that helps helps with EV cars. You know what I'm saying? And he got little kids down there diving in this fucking river, reaching into the mines where normally you have a hazmat suit on with a mask. They in there with nothing on, bare skin. You know, now Esau's, he's reaping hella benefits from this stuff.
Oh, yeah, and Moab.
The EV industry, yeah, Moab.
They pay them like $1 a day.
And they just leave it, and the thing is, when they're done mining, they just leave all their shit there. It pollutes the land, you know what I'm saying?
And you know what? When you go to Psalms, the 83rd chapter,
those are Israelites, by the way. The Congo that's out there doing that, it's Israelites.
see, when you go to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, it goes to our enemies. The first one on the list is Esau, then you got Ishmael, then you got Moab, the third one that's mentioned. So, Moab, that's why I don't eat none of these Chinese food niggas. Check it out. When you go to Chinese restaurants, the Chinese food, they're not eating the same food that they're giving you. You ever check it out? You ever seen them eating this shit?
Yeah, they shit is packed up, wrapped up in plastic.
And they eating vegetables and shit.
Yeah, take out their bok choy and warm up their soup.
But they feeding you chicken and unhealthy pork and all that other shit, and shrimp and all that shit.
Using the same grease to cook everything.
Yeah, the nigga turning around dropping his shit in grease.
Yeah.
And while it's cooking, he gonna sit down and eat his vegetables.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Whatever you got.
This is Ezekiel 28:5. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches.
Jeez, read that again, bro.
By thy wisdom and by thy traffic.
Right, which that's all it is the Lord downloading how He wants you to operate. This Lord, He made Esau a perfect devil, right along with the heathen. Because you said to Ishmael, because what's not talked about a lot is also the trans-Saharan slave trade, where Ishmael got with the East African Hamites, the Hamites in the east, and sold us over to the far east, the Moab. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, and then a lot of us, that's how a lot of Israelites ended up in South India, because the Elamites enslaved us in India, the Moabites enslaved us, different Ammonite tribes enslaved us, and who was doing the monetary transactions? Edomites, Ishmaelites, and that's through the wisdom. They knew who we were, and Ammon, they knew who we were.
Many Amalekites.
Amalek, yes, Amalek.
And that traffic, slave trade, drug trade, and our wealth didn't disappear.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't squander that money.
Right.
It wasn't squandered, yo. They came up off of that.
And that's how the international beggars got rich. Esau got rich through slave trade and the opium wars with China and drugs, man.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, HSBC, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank of China, they have ties. Their wealth has ties that goes back to our slavery as well.
To the Lee family.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, the Lee family. Yep, that's one of them elites too. The Lee family. They're the top. They're one of the 13 families. Another thing. What I was saying, they know what's going on. Whatever drugs is moving, they're in control of it. They let certain things get busted. Ain't nothing moving on the sea, the air, or land, you know, without Esau's approval. Right?
This is Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil.
Not accustomed. And so the Ethiopian, he can't change his skin, or the leopard his spots. So man, his complexion, or the leopard his spots. But in Esau, he cannot do good. He can't do good. He's meant to do evil. And he'll mask his evil by saying he's doing something good, when actuality is to bring you under. You know what I mean? That's the game. Yo, we're gonna lower taxes and this and that. Then you're gonna throw the hidden tax, inflation. Now, come on, man. Beware Greeks bearing gifts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many proverbs against the so-called white man throughout history. Forked tongue, deceiver, and he lives up to it.
Yeah, his reputation precedes him. So people say your reputation precedes you, you hear your name, they already know what you about. They don't gotta think about stereotypes, you know what I'm saying? Somebody hears Iron Mike, you know, niggas is getting knocked out. You know, when they hear Esau Edom, or the so-called white man, you know what? His democracy is alive to crush your entire nation, send you into an economic deficit, to change the moral structure of your entire society.
So social engineering.
Yeah, and then also genetically modified engineering. You're gonna rape the planet of its resources.
And that's beware Greeks. Oh, you got it.
No, go ahead.
Beware Greeks being gifts. That's the thing with Troy. That Achilles thing with the Trojan horse, it didn't exist, but we using the symbology for it. Like Troy, the city Troy existed. That's Turkey. That's Turkey right now. Troy. But that story with Achilles and all that didn't take place. But the symbology of that, when they had the warriors and the Trojan horse, it's symbology of beware Greeks bearing gifts.
Psalm chapter 10, verse 4, it says, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not at all in his thoughts.
It's not. The Most High is not in the thoughts of these so-called white men. All right, starting with the least of them. All right. I'm glad that brother mentioned the Lee family because that's an elite family.
You know, that's a part of too the level of wisdom. When we go into these different animals, how they represent wisdom. In the top, you have the dragon. Apostle Abba Gabar brings out. Dragon is known for what? It's cruelty. And that's the so-called white man, yo. He's extremely cruel. You think like, yo, well, Jake, like, yo, I feel bad, bro. This is fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Esau, no, he's completely heartless, yo.
He pretends that it's bad.
Yo, bro, you ever work with some of these devils, bro? Like, man, like some of the shit they say, you like, yo, where's the compassion, man? Like, yo, these motherfuckers is ruthless, son. Like, they was just, I don't even want to go too detailed in it, man.
It says,
I'm gonna come across this video. Go ahead, bro.
it says his ways are grievous. His ways are always grievous.
His ways are always grievous. Oh, Shalak, you speak, right?
They always grievous, yo. Like here it goes. You might have a task. You might work janitorial position or whatever. So you might finish all your assignments on the job, but he wants you to max out every cent of that time. You heard me? You might be ahead. You might be ahead of your schedule. So if he wants you to do other things, you're doing double or triple your load of work. You know this man, and then he might say, "Oh, you get a half an hour lunch break." When in actuality you don't, because you gotta clock in, but you gotta clock out that half an hour. So let's say you start work 8 o'clock, you get a 30-minute lunch break, but you gotta clock out for the end of your shift at 4:30. So you don't really get no free time. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. It's illusion. So-called white man is heartless, man.
It says his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffing at them.
Yeah, he puffing at them. Yo, we conquered the world. We conquered this great nation. Our enterprise is crowned with success. There's no one like us. That's why when you say the so-called white man's going under, you got people looking like, yo, when that's going to happen? Right. Even the so-called white man, he looks in a maze like, really?
Right.
You know, even our people, like, yo, you can't take them down. Why? Because of their medium, their media, the commercials. You could believe it. You could keep telling someone something over and over again till they believe it. Like they really think their military is gonna conquer all, man.
It says,
you see, what's the name, man? Our own people, he got one of his hands blown off, right? That nigga was proud. And he never lost a fight. You know, I fight 30 niggas, I squabbled, Alright, man.
he had said in his heart,
On 40 crit.
he had said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity.
He said in his mind, he shall never be moved, shall not be in adversity, man. We're gonna always rebuild.
That's how come they have those movies like Star Trek, or Star Wars or
Yeah.
Futurama, 1,000 years have passed, and so-called white man is still ruling. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah,
that-
we know this world is gonna be depleted. We're gonna go to new worlds. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay. That's some proud shit to say.
A lot of these movies show you too, the so-called white man continue to rule, no flesh is going to be saved.
Yeah, yep.
It says, this is the last verse. It says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud.
Cursing, deceit, and fraud, man. He saying he the most highest people. You know what I mean? And then he say it or indirectly say it. You put up iconoclasm, put up your images up as being the Lord's people. You're basically pointing in the minds of Israelites that we're inferior to you and that the Most High is you. You indirectly saying that, yo. You know?
It says, under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
It's mischief and vanity. It's the things unprofitable. All right? And vain. It has no real truth to it, no intrinsic value. All right? The so-called white man, he's that's his thing, is to promote lies, man.
Yeah, but look at this healthcare system.
Oh, you're
Look at
fraud.
the way that shit is set up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a big pharma, you got all these people that are dependent upon pills, medical, you know. So all these people who their hospitals might get closed down, or it's going to be harder for you to get medical attention. The older you're too old to be say, okay, I'm gonna go 21 days and change how I'm eating. It's too late by then. You're already dependent upon the fucking pills and whatever the regimen that you've been doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it takes the body way longer to heal at that age.
If you was on them opioids, like opium is a certain, as a form of heroin. Now, because you got them spinal cord injury people that's hooked on the OxyContins, the OxyContin 60 milligrams or the oxycodone 5 milligrams. I know about this stuff. My mother was a spinal cord injury, C6, 6 cervical vertebrae. So she was like dependent on those. And when you have certain spinal injuries, it might be hot right now, but they might feel like they're in the Arctic weather.
Okay.
Or you in the Arctic weather, they might feel like they're in a desert. Central nervous system is the Lord high. The Lord made that.
Deliverance all off.
Yeah, it's off. So I know, and then I used to study pharmacology, but I forgot a lot of that shit.
What's that shit called? The hypothalamus gland?
Hypothalamus, that's like the body thermostat.
Yeah.
It regulates it regulates like the heat of your spirit, all right? Your body temperature. Because your spirit is in the mind, but it radiates through your body. That's why a person loses a limb, it feels like their arm is still there, their leg is still there. Because you got spiritual body trapped in here that heat radiates. And the hypothalamus, it regulates the body temperature.
They call it like phantom something,
Watch
right?
that movie Osmosis Jones back in that cartoon?
Yeah.
That was the villain of that cartoon movie played by Lawrence Fishburne. His whole thing was he wanted to take people's hypothalamus gland, and they showed it just like that, bro. Like they showed it just like, you know, they like controlling the temperature and all that.
Yeah.
He took that shit and guys started to overheat.
It was a cartoon.
It was an animated film, yeah.
A lot of that shit I forgot. I didn't have to study that shit in school. You know what I mean?
He used to put shit in animation, so it's not serious. It's an animated cartoon, so who gonna take this serious? It's entertainment, but it's fucking like The Simpsons. They got a lot of truth in that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why Revelations 3 and 18, man. You have to have that eyesight. So you can look at everything. We just circle it back to the scriptures.
Everything circle back like the Lord is a man of war. Everything is on a carnal level of war, spiritual, and a molecular. Because your cells it's built like a city. So you got your cell membrane is your protection. It's protection. It's made of cholesterol. Oil and water don't mix. It's cholesterol. It's cholesterol. Everything's on a warpath.
Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Iron oxidizes, is sure to oxidize and rust. So the so-called white man, he's going to show us wickedness. He could try to conceal it, smoke screen it, but it's gonna come out. That's his nature. He's destructive. His inventions are destructive. His ways are destructive. You can't trust him. And he's an enemy. He's a serpent. He's the most deadliest of enemies because a lot of people don't know he's an enemy.
Case in point. Talk about can't trust our enemy. Donald Trump was negotiating the ceasefire between Iran and Israel, but he allowed Israel to do a sneak attack on Iran and hit Iran with missiles and blow up their military bases and everything. But what Iran did to them, they started calling for a ceasefire. Now they got a so-called ceasefire because Iran hit them hard. Iran hit them hard, and they didn't even know Iran had the capability to do what they did. And how Iran did it was the first time, like in 2024, when they had that little small war between Israel, Iran figured out, all right, I send drones at these iron domes and all this, and a David Sling is going to hit the drones there after them. It's going to take 11 minutes for them to recharge their batteries and put more missiles in there. I could have sent all kind of hella missiles over here, and that's what they did.
It costs more money to defend. It costs more money to defend and intercept missiles than it costs to shoot them.
They started destroying Tel Aviv, Haifa, and they destroyed a whole government building that was related to
It's like the equivalent of their Pentagon.
yeah, which was high tech technology that was being developed there. They destroyed that shit.
Wake up the mighty men.
They destroyed that shit hard, bro.
Yeah, back in that warlike mentality, the Persians.
Yeah,
Because
what Israel did was they'll have their military complexes they'll put it in civilian locations so they can say, look, they're striking civilians, but it's against Sharia law, which is Iran, the Ayatollah, the Muslim, the religious figure, because they have a theocracy over there, meaning they tie their leader to a religious figure, which is the Ayatollah. Under Sharia law, you can't kill innocent people. So Israel's trying to use that to their advantage. So they'll have like an IDF base and put it under a hospital.
That's what they did.
They do things like that. That's how come every time these places get struck, Iran has to put out a message saying, look, this was strictly military, no innocent civilians was harmed, and these sorts of stuff. Because if the Ayatollah starts killing, just bombarding Israel like Israel bombards Iran,
In Gaza,
he could be overthrown because he'll look like a hypocrite.
yeah, but
This is how come they fund proxies. They have Hezbollah do it, the Houthis in Yemen. They used to go through Syria, so that's how they would circumvent and fuck Israel up. That way.
The Houthis were recently firing missiles on Israel.
yeah.
And they got their shit.
in the Red Sea, yeah. They got some sophisticated technology, the Houthis, and Hezbollah.
Yeah.
And then you know what? The hypocrisy of the whole thing with Benjamin Netanyahu, he was like, they was bombing hospitals in the Gaza Strip, killing 500 people, women and children, medical staff and everything, just killing them. But as soon as one hospital get hit by an Iranian missile, look what they did. They destroyed the hospital.
Yeah.
Straight hypocrisy. Hypocrisy has no boundaries when it comes to these goddamn Edomites, man. That shit is crazy, bro.
This is since you said that, let me get
The level of hypocrisy when it comes to Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a liar. He considered a liar. Nobody trusts Donald Trump. While you negotiating the goddamn ceasefire, you help orchestrate a secret bombing on Iran.
Yeah, butter in his mouth, smooth butter, but wars in his heart.
Yeah.
This Job 15:34 says, "For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery."
And that's what's happening right now, man. It's going to happen on the future day. Read that again, Bobby Bishop.
Yeah. Job 15:34 says, "For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate."
Which is Esau, Amalek. And it's going to become desolate when the missile set, when Yahweh shall crack the skies, bringing death, destruction, and deliverance, man. Death and destruction to Esau, Israel, and 2/3 of our own people, man. And deliverance to the 1/3, man.
And fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery.
And that's that thermonuclear destruction, the country that far from the chariots.
I got one more. Verse 35, it says, "They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity."
They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity. Worthless bullshit, man.
Yeah.
That they conjure up, you know what I'm saying?
In their belly prepareth deceit.
And that's
Like you're saying that meeting, you know.
Yeah. that meeting that Donald Trump had with the leaders of with the leaders of Iran. But at the same time, Israel, after that ceasefire, started bombing Iran, trying to catch them off guard. But Iran, the Mossad flipped it on them. Iran had sophisticated weaponry that they didn't even know about. And Iran started leveling Tel Aviv and Haifa, and you had the Guardians over there fighting against each other and begging for a goddamn ceasefire. Why do you think?
Iran got the big homies on deck.
Russia and Russia, China, North Korea, and India offered to send to arm them with warheads, man.
Every time even Netanyahu's about to face trial, he gets to go into war.
Yeah. Well, all things fail and they bring you to war, like Joe said this says. When all things fail, they take you to war.
Psalm chapter 35, verse 20. It says, "For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land."
That's these fucking devils, man. That's these devils, man. You know they get Baba Kushai?
He's a real dis-ease, man. He puts nations at odds with each other. You know, perfectly fine. Look at Gad. This makes you think about Gad and Reuben, all the northern tribes over here. You sitting down having meetings with them, but your army is preparing to go to war.
Right. They used psychological warfare against Gad because while Gad was going out hunting and everything, they would come in and slaughter the women and the children. Come in the village and they slaughter them. But Gad come back, they all fucked up in their head. They're like, oh shit. To me, that's not psychological warfare, man.
They're still doing the psyops to this day.
Come in. They're coming home from hunting buffalo, got the buffalo. Then they killed all the buffalo because they wanted to stop out Gad.
They move similar to Hannibal Barca. I think this third Punic War Battle of Cannae, Hannibal he gathered reinforcements. So me and you fighting, we near Rome. And now I'm Rome. I send secret legions to Carthage.
Now, but his own cousin betrayed him. Because that was because it wasn't for them. It wasn't at the time.
For them.
It wasn't for Hannibal Barca to conquer Rome because Rome was going to become an exceedingly great power. That was the fourth beast. So it wasn't in the prophecy for that to happen. So that's why the Lord allowed Hannibal Barca's cousin to betray him. You know what I mean? And not only that,
sent secret legions.
and not only that, they had to cross the mountains, and the mountains was heavily snowed in. So a lot of them died from starvation and being cold. They was traveling.
The weaker ones, and he gathered reinforcements. You got it.
So imagine that right there, bro. Hannibal Barca was leading the charge, but a lot of his men died off. They also the betrayal of his cousin.
I'm gonna just read it again. This is Psalm chapter 35, verse 20. It says, "For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land."
That's also going on again. That big beautiful bill. Because it sounds peaceful, but who's that peace coming to? Again, protecting that 1%. You know, they only care about that top triangle at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, they saying that their claim is going to benefit the working class because they're going to be less taxes and more money added to their check. So they can put it back into the their circulation. But I don't think that's the case, man. Esau don't do shit for the poor. It's the poor against the rich, man. So the rich become rich and the poor become poor because they want them to be serfs and they want to microchip everybody and have everybody enslaved.
Yeah, Esau, he wants to either depopulate you or make sure that he can track you ultimately, you know?
Keep control over you.
Yeah, because what Esau wants is he wants to make spirits and control spirits.
Huh.
So if he can get this chip in you, well then now he can track your chin. This is where you like to go on Thursday evenings. You know, this is how much you like mayonnaise on your sandwich or whatever. He's always getting extra of this or doing this around this time of the year. This always happens.
So I like to eat a lot of
so they can push more distractions into that area for you. Yeah. Or say, you know what? No, you're too overweight. You can't purchase anything. Your chip's not gonna work in this establishment.
My thing is like a trip. You know, people think about it like a one-way sort of system, but it's a two-way thing, right? If you could scan and put out information, it's nothing for Esau to put information in your thoughts.
Right.
Programming, just like how they run ads on your ship.
Yep.
You got that chip in you. You go to sleep when you have ads. They showed you that in Black Mirror. Yeah. You're going to bed and shit.
Yeah, you gotta keep getting upgrades.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All that stuff people think is science fiction, but this is how the so-called white man's think, bro.
Have you been having a conversation in your house? All of a sudden, you actually say, all of a sudden, actually commercial come on?
Yeah. You like if you say Dove soap pop up on YouTube. If you don't have premium, you're gonna see ad for Dove soap or whatever. You know, that's how it goes.
Facebook or whatever.
Because when you download the app, it's telling you we have the right to record, do all this type of shit.
Yep.
You know, that's another way they trap people. Like these government officials, they're like, well, hey, you got me doing what? I don't even remember that. You gotta remember it.
No, you don't.
You record that shit on your TV and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit go deep. Anyways, Psalm 73:3. I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death.
Yeah, because like we were saying when we was over there at the other camp, people say, well, the Lord's blessing me, but he's blessing you on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
He's just giving you gifts from Satan, that's all. You know? But the gift, it comes with lead, you know, it's got asbestos all in it.
Right.
If you touch it with your bare hand, your skin gonna melt off.
Fluoride.
Yeah, it's got fluoride in it. If you breathe it in, your lungs gonna fucking collapse in on themselves, you know?
And what Jake don't realize, when they like the avant-garde or the gatekeepers of Esau's Illuminati is the boule. And you ain't nothing but the house nigga of the 1800s.
Right.
And you got the regular people are the field niggas, and the boule is the house niggas. To keep they the bougie type niggas that was in the house eating from the king, from the master's table. You know what I mean? So now, instead of switching everything around, what they did was they gave you the boule, was established in 1903, and to keep these other niggas in place, man. Don't date with them. Don't communicate with them like that. We would give you the Eastern stars that are women of the boule, so you can integrate with them, and that's that. And you become the gatekeepers to keep them down, to keep them low, and that's all it is, man. But you join hand in hand with them, you're gonna be punished right along with them niggas, man.
Yeah.
Shaq is a gatekeeper.
Yeah, because Esau, there was that interview with the head of Google, the head of Google, I forget his name.
That Elamite dude.
I didn't
CEO
know.
of Google.
He did an interview basically talking about how AI is completely out of control, where it's going. It's not going to be able to control it. And we're at the point where humans are hacking, you know? So your DNA has been compromised. When you go out, the way that they make this technology, it meshes with your on a molecular level. You know what I'm saying? That's why when they get the stick for the birth control, it fucks with their moon. It fucks them all up. They got to take it out, and then they start going back to
start blocking.
His name is Sundar Prashad, by the way.
Yeah, Sundar, and that was a good interview.
Sundar.
Sundar, yeah, it's an Elamite cat. And it was a very good interview, and he was breaking down, hey, look, AI is going to try and take over, you know? It's too much.
And you got this one dude, he used to work at Facebook, and he was one of the high-tech technicians at Facebook. He was like, yo, none of my kids, I have 3 kids, none of them have social media accounts. I don't allow them on no platform dealing with any social media, no Instagram, no YouTube, none of that. He said they have regular phones, and them phones are being monitored by the people that's watching them by they rich. So, they got nannies and all that, you know what I'm saying? So they make sure them nannies make sure that they don't, be on social media like that. So if this dude saying he keep his kids from social media and Instagram and all that, why? And Facebook. He said because Facebook was created by the CIA. And they said what better way to get people to give their whole life story up without probing. They're gonna do it themselves.
And Facebook wasn't for the commoners, it was for like the elite, certain Ivy League schools, institutions were using it at first. Then everybody else started.
It was like a college thing and then spread it.
It's Mark Zuckerberg, from what I heard, that his name is not really Zuckerberg, he's part of the Rockefeller family. That's what I heard. It could be wrong, but I heard that, and I heard that through one of the people that used to work for Olive Jones. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I looked into it, and they said that his great-grandfather was a Rockefeller, but they changed their names.
Yeah, they do that.
So verse 4, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Verse 5, they're not in trouble as other men.
Oh, they're not in trouble like other men. the so-called white man, these heathens, they're not in trouble like everyone else is. All right, they're not a target like we are.
Neither are they plagued like other men.
Not plagued like other men. All right. Your neighborhoods ain't polluted like our neighborhoods are.
Right.
And even if you come into our neighborhoods, you got a satanic force around you to where you good.
Yeah, the so-called white man going his neighborhood. You ever walk in a rich, affluent neighborhood, you're not gonna see niggas chilling outside, lighting up blood, just wasting time. But they don't do that.
Grass gonna be cut, gonna be that Dennis Menace neighborhood.
Which also affects your spirit, bro. There's a reason you love driving around in these nice neighborhoods and seeing these scenic views, because it does good for your spirit. Now, mind you, if the breeze is different, if you drive home to that every day, you're gonna be a different individual than somebody that's pulling to the projects every day. You know what I'm saying? It fucks with your spirit. It says, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment.
Violence covered the so-called white man like a garment. They clothe their wickedness, man. They're violent, and their violent is subtle. It's more strategic.
Yeah, you know, when you get a brand new, you buy some fresh shit, you're happy to wear it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, yo, this feels, like, you know what I mean? You put on some shit you just caught, you like, kind of like, take a little pride in it. That's how the so-called white man is with violence. Like, yo, how could, you got that disease? All right, but can you make it like this now? You know what I'm saying? And when they see that shit get executed, they get like a fucking hard-on that shit, bro. Like, look how much people that killed and shit, you know? That's his devil. Scriptures tell you that they can't even sleep right. And they ain't no mischief and death and shit going on.
They conquered their goal. That's why the apostles tell us to do this work, because we constantly doing the Lord's work while they doing the spiritual demon Satan's work.
Right. Yeah, the same fulfillment we get out of doing the work of the Lord, that's the same fulfillment they get out of working for Satan.
They own it, man. They own it.
I got a picture. It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods.
He's not. The so-called white man, he meditates on wickedness, man. On how can he overthrow and further destroy or annihilate the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And if he don't annihilate everyone, annihilates 97% and enslave the rest. Because all you that join their hand to hand with them, thinking you are part of the elite, nah, you serving a purpose to mislead our people, and then he gonna turn his back on you.
That's all it is. Look how he treats his own people, his own land. He's absolutely, he's self-destructive. That's why, again, our people are the way they are. You created niggas. But you're the biggest bully on the block.
How I used to go down to the nation's capital, right, and I see our people living in tents. I don't know if it changed.
No, it's still the same. When you arrive at Union Station in DC,
that's like
clutch your bag and don't walk there. Watch where you stay.
Union City is equivalent to Grand Central. Union City is equivalent to Grand Central Station. You know what I mean? And then you got 8th Street go that way.
All filthy.
You have this one dude that goes around and he interviewed the homeless. There's a major homeless population in LA. You don't even hear that shit on the news, man. LA is you can hardly.
Skid Row?
It's like
Tent City.
Yeah.
San Francisco's like that too.
It's hard to believe
Tent City.
that part of America, that part of LA is a part of America. That's how third world country. That's how third world look, man.
Yeah, Skid Row in LA, it looked like a third world country.
And you got people like this. It's nodding and shit, you know what I'm saying? Out. Got that good shot, you know what I mean?
And it's third world countries because of so-called white man robbing and looting. Because how he's a bottomless pit. That's a bottomless pit over there in Europe. Right, the majority of it, the ones that got resources is Russia. But the other part is like a bottomless pit.
Russia's not a part of Europe. Russia's part of Asia.
It is?
Yeah,
I thought part of Russia is in Europe too, right?
That's
in Europe.
Consider Asiatic.
It's Asia.
Really, it's all Asia. Europe is all Asia. It's all Asia.
Okay.
They just call it Asia Minor.
Russia's all Asia, but Europe is Europe, you know what I mean? That's in the West. The West, you got Western Europe and you got Eastern Europe. Russia part of Eastern Europe.
Because they got resources in Russia.
Ukraine got a lot of
Yeah,
resources.
they'll try to say Europe is a continent, but that's a Edomite fact. That's a Edomite fallacy.
So they threw out disinformation.
Yeah.
Look, it's just so-called white man. You know, that's what he do.
Russia was never a part of the seven heads. You know, Russia was always. It tell you that Russia was the contrary feather is Russia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see,
No.
It's like I meant to say, when Russia was never a part of NATO. Russia was always,
Adversary.
towards the seven heads. Man, they was never a part of it.
It wasn't.
it says continents. It says North America, Asia, South America, Antarctica, Africa, Europe, Oceania. But Europe is a part of Asia. Esau just wants something for himself.
See what I mean?
Go ahead, bro. Technically, we're Asiatic.
Yeah, because Israel is in Asia.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Psalm chapter 58, verse 2. It says, Yea, in the heart ye work wickedness.
In your mind, you work wickedness, man. You meditate that wickedness, man.
Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth.
You weigh the violence of his hands in the earth. His weapons, his regular weapons, his economic weapons, his pharmacology, biological weapons. Yeah, and then his economic weapon is also biological weapon. It's a silent weapon. It fucks up your thoughts, price shocking.
Because this dollar's not worth, it's not backed by anything, and it's not worth anything. But the people that carry the dollar in their pocket give us this power.
So I got the symbols on there.
It's still the United States dollar is still tied to labor. That's the only reason you don't throw a $100 bill out the window, because you have to work for it.
Because when you go back to the system of the ancient Babylonians, they had something where they used to create money out of thin air too. Where do you think Esau got that from? It's called the ancient Babylonian money magic system. Yeah. That Esau creates money out of thin air. It's not backed by anything, but the people give it its illusion. When you look up the Babylonian money magic system, Esau took that whole concept and made it to something bigger. Esau is not prolific in anything he does. He steals culture, steals ideas, and steals lands, and steals people's identity. He's not prolific in anything he does, man. Why do you think they got something called the ancient Babylonian money magic system that Esau follows to a T? The Federal Reserve is based upon the ancient money magic system, Babylonian money magic system.
Fiat currency.
Yep, I was just looking at it. Fiat means
Faith, right? Faith.
yeah, faith-based. You know, it's not really created by anything. It's faith-based.
It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they're born, as they be born, speaking lies.
Speaking lies. As soon as they're able to talk, they start lying. All right? It's already in their spirit, but then they go out and execute that wickedness. That's what I meant to say.
So who God is alive?
Yeah, and they always lying, man. That's why a lot of our people got hung and things like that, man. They lie. You know, one of them, I was working with y'all years ago, and one of them, one of the dudes called lie, or his daughter say we was following his daughter or whatever, and that wasn't the case. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sue the shit out of him, because when we used to do sales, we was on TPV, third-party verification. So I had to be recorded, so to show that everything was on the up and up. I'm like, I'm recorded at this time. In my mind, I'm like, yo, big ass lawsuit. I gotta come up. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking like, yo, I'm just chill. And I call my lead and manager, which is Yazan Young. You know what I mean? For him to be there, I'm like, yo, I gotta come up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna catch him. I'm suing. You know what I mean? But it did. I didn't get jammed up. I didn't get the sue because they didn't lock me up. And our father was all fucking drunk anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah. But these Edomites, right after the little girl lied, right? As soon as we leave in the work site, she's back up just playing and running up the block. They the devils, man. Yep.
It says their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
It's poison of a serpent. All right, that's their poison, their philosophies, man. their religion, all of that tied together, all of that, everything they do.
Right? Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They're like the deaf adder that stoppeth her air.
Like a deaf adder. Everything, that's why our people is jammed up because of the so-called white man. There's poison, there's philosophies and stuff, there's capitalism, all of that, feminism, all of that is poison, man.
Yeah.
That's why our women are out of order because I don't need no man. I gotta take care of myself and this and that. All right, we'll see when this economy crashes, when all the world's economies crash. We're gonna see if the Lord is going to put that to the test. You know what I mean? Because we not independent. We depend on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So Yahweh Shah depends on the Most High. Because Yahweh Shah is dependent on the Most High because he has to wait on Yahweh to sanction when he goes to take this place down. You know, so, and they talking about they're independent, all right. We're going to see. We'll see about that.
So back in Psalm 73 and 8, it says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression.
Yeah, the so-called white man. He's corrupt. No, look. Y'all been here 400 years? Or how many? Y'all been out of slavery such and such long? Pull yourself up by your bootstrap and all that. When all you top 500, Fortune 500 people goes back to these elites, to these elite 13 families.
Well, that's how you forget slavery, but every fucking year is a new movie on the Holocaust.
Yeah, and that didn't happen.
Right.
No damn Holocaust happened. We wish it happened, but it didn't happen. I ain't gonna lie. I wish Hitler was gassing these niggas
A
up.
lot of people were saying with that war, the 12-day war, they're saying maybe Hitler was onto something.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Everybody's saying that
Yeah. Because everybody's like, everywhere the so-called Jew goes, there's like an uprising to get them the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right. Kicked them out of all these lands.
They got kicked out of Europe. They got kicked out. They went to go to Palestine. So there's always something about these people.
No, why can't
You chose the people to keep you annoying everybody on earth.
You know something? Yeah.
Big snouts and nose, be like,
You know what you
like
should
a
do?
rat.
Look up Hitler's speech in English. There's a reason they always just show it in German. If you ever go to YouTube and watch what Hitler was saying in English, you're like, holy shit. Like, damn, it's pretty accurate.
We can say that Hitler was targeting Israelites in Germany. He was sterilizing Israelites in Germany so he can't have children.
And he was racist towards, but Jesse Owens went over there.
I saw that movie, yeah.
He was racist towards Jesse Owens. And then when
Hitler was in his right spirit.
yeah, of course.
That's how Edomites should be. You should just be about your race. That's how every nation should be.
I forgot when
I hate this fake shit.
When Jack Johnson went over there in Germany, he's in Germany, he fought that Edomite. The Edomite got a call from Hitler saying that, yo, I want you to whoop this motherfucker's ass. Man. You know?
Make sure you take care of him.
Make sure you take care of him. You know what I'm saying? But Jack Johnson humiliated this dude, man. I mean, beat the shit out this dude, man. And toyed with him. When he hit him, he'd knock him, the dude was about to fall out, he'd grab him and hold him up. You know what I mean? So hold him up so he could finish punishing him. You know what I'm saying? Because he got the whip of what Adolf Hitler told him.
But he created some type of tool, and he also was the owner of the Cotton Club too in Harlem. He sold it to
The original owner of the car. What, the original car club. Not the one that's over
the
there
original,
now.
not that one. That's it. The original one, and he sold it. I forgot what gangster he sold it to, but yeah.
And they charged Puffy with the Mann Act.
So what?
The Mann Act. They called it back in the days the Mann Act. 'Cause, you know, when you take a woman and travel over state lines, they have sex with them. That's called the Mann Act. They created that because this dude Jack Johnson, he was into white women. And back when he was around in 1912, it was totally against. Edomites was like, what? This nigga fucking a fucking white woman? Shit, man. He said they made it a law. It's called the Mann Act. And that's what they got Puffy on. You know?
I'm sorry getting it. I'm sorry.
They ain't called the Mann. They said transfer of prostitutes across state line. When you look into it, that's the Mann Act. That's the Mann Act.
It says they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Yeah, like that guy, that dude Matt Walsh, when he was on his rampage about, he was proud of what the colonizers did. He said what they did was good. You know what I'm saying? See how he talked about that? That's a good example right there as a recently, you know. He had I think he has a whole documentary or movie on it why he says he's basically racist or some shit like that.
He was saying it was a beautiful thing. They took their dominance, and he was like, oh, how they came over here, they colonized over here. Yeah, but we taught you, we civilized you, which is a total fucking lie. You know, all lies, man. Esau is a forger of lies, man. He's a physician of no father. He's a forger of lies, man. He lies. When he's a baby, when he's crying, he's lying. He's crying, man. He's lying. You know?
It says, verse 9.
So when you think about it, Esau, he was crying when Isaac was on his deathbed, but he said, "Now will I slay my brother Jacob." So your father's dying, you're crying because of your blessing, but at the same time you're ready to kill your own twin brother.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, Esau, bro.
Yeah.
He was pissed off. Bless me, Father, you bless me. He started crying and weeping and wailing and shit.
Yeah.
And then Jacob, which is Yahweh Shah, Isaac, which is Yahweh Shah, you know, he gave him the blessing of the sword.
You always making dumb decisions. Like, this is your spirit, the Lord put it in to sell your birthright. When the stock market crashed, you was all for yourself. You always make dumb business decisions, man.
Well,
this New World Order's a dumb business decision.
To hear what was going on, and Rebecca went to Isaac and hey, check it out. With the Jacob was like, hey, come here, go get them. Yeah, go get the go get a sheep or something, or a goat.
Yeah, the goat.
A goat.
It was a goat.
And kill it and give it to me so I can kill it. And he said, how fast you got the thing? She even laced him up because she was heavy. Esau was heavy.
Yeah.
She put the A on him. I'm saying he went in there. He said, the voice sounded like Jacob, but you feel like Esau.
Yeah, Isaac probably smelled that powder. He was like, damn, Esau did it again.
And Esau was his favorite, you know?
Yeah, they said it was lentils.
Yeah.
Here's the last one.
Yeah.
It says, verse 9, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walking through the earth.
Yeah, he said, you always
Spreading
talking,
their lies,
Yup, and lying, man.
That's why you got something called propaganda. He controls the narrative. Esau's still trying to control the narrative. That's why he hasn't really rolled on us yet, because the whole earth doesn't quite know about the magnitude of what we're speaking on. You know, they have the idea of who we are, but it's what Esau says.
Yeah, come. Get rid of Operation Mockingbird?
Yeah, if they were to put us down and sit us down and ask us questions, we would be countering Esau so much, especially with the mystery of the Gentiles.
You know how everybody's talking about how Israel is being exposed as a wicked and deceitful state, whatever? Everybody's seeing it. It's going to be the same exact thing with this truth. It's going to be spread all over. And the truth is like a bully, as Apostle Ryan always says. Keep it down for a little bit.
Bounce back up.
Bounce back up.
See, it's already out there. It's already out there, bro. But they just, trying to keep it under control. But you can't. It's out there. The cheat is out the back.
Oh, okay, come on, wrap up. Hey, with that, we give all praise to our power.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kwadash.
Praying you know you're edified, and shalom to the household of faith. Shalom.
Shalom.